reports of cases where individuals who are not necessarily black suffering the same fate or in equal measure. You could say the police were simply doing their duty and they were exuberant. But if someone of color, individuals of color, appear to be those who, the majority of whom bear the brunt of this, then people will have fodder. They will have reason to say, you know something, we're actually being picked on here. Yes. We're being profiled and targeted. Yes.
Okay. We really pray for justice for that family. Pray for justice for that family. There was some interesting debate yesterday in the National Assembly.
Yes.
So there's something called the Division of Revenue, okay? Division of Revenue starts with a meeting of IBEC where they say, okay, counties, the national executive, the proposal is that the amount of money to be sent to the counties in the next financial year's budget shall be X amount. That matter goes to the National Assembly, goes to the Senate. So it went to the Senate. The Senate made some proposed amendments. So the National Assembly had looked at a bill and approved an allocation of 391 billion shillings to go to the counties in the next financial year. The matter went to the Senate. The Senate deliberated and they came back and proposed, no. Let's actually amend this from 391 to 415 billion shillings. Now, when the Senate does this, the matter must go back to the National Assembly for concurrence or rejection. So it went back to the National Assembly and it was being discussed yesterday. And members of the National Assembly yesterday voted to reject amendments to the Division of Revenue Bill as proposed by the Senate. Majority of the legislators said the increase of funds to counties meant a reduction in the allocation of NGCDF, GAF, which they argued have turned around the well-being of Kenyans. The legislators were responding to the amendments to the Division of Revenue Allocation Bill tabled during a special sitting of Parliament by the National Assembly Finance Committee Chairman Kuria Kimani and seconded by Funyula MP Wilberforce Oundo. National Assembly Budget Committee Chairman Dende Nyoro said, while Parliament supported devolution fully and increases money given to counties each year, the national government and devolved government operate on a fixed envelope, and that an increase in the funds will mean a decrease in NGCDF and the national government of Affirmative Action Fund, NGAF. Nyoro said the considerations are that Parliament should cede the roads maintenance levy fund to the counties, and that if the House agrees with the Senate, they'll have 10 billion shillings slashed from NGCDF to go to this fund, which is not acceptable. National Assembly Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah said the National Government Constituency Development Fund and the National Government Affirmative Action Fund were doing a better job than most of these county governments, and that Parliament should not accept to lose the little funds that they are managing to counties. Ichung'wah said Parliament cannot allow amendments that will take away funds from NGCDF to county governments which have not spent the funds that they have received for the last 10 years well, and that there was little development done by counties. Basically, the gist of this thing was, Senate did not say, take money from here, put it here. Okay? Just like the original bill was not saying this 391 billion shillings, which is an increase, a marginal increase from the money that is in the counties in the current financial year. It was not saying that, okay, this money shall come from something in the national government. It went to the Senate. The Senate said, we think, just looking at this, looking at the other, we think that this money should actually go to 415 billion shillings. Increase the money that goes to counties. National Assembly now went and they twisted this whole conversation around and they said, if we give counties money, it means that we take money from CDF. Where they got that from, only God knows. But they brought that in Parliament. And speaker after speaker after speaker who was rejecting this proposal by the Senate was saying, if we take this, it means that we reduce money from NGCDF, from GAF, and then there's also the road maintenance levy that comes and goes into constituencies. God knows. Their argument was, if you increase to 415, it means it must come from, we already have a 3.9 trillion shilling budget.
Yeah, so,
Okay?
so did that affect?
If we increase money to counties, we are reducing money at the national level. If you reduce money at the national level, right, it means that now the votes in the national government budget have to be reduced. Which ones are these that we are going to reduce? They, in their own wisdom, decided that the most likely ones to be reduced would be CDF, NGAF, and road maintenance levy.
The monies that the counties get, if I understand this correctly, predominantly have to do with the devolved functions.
Yes.
So kuna hii kazi serikali kuu haifanyi, so wamepawa, si ndio? Now, we also know that in many instances, the national government retains the bulk of this money.
Yes.
So if there was an increase to counties, it's just a question of reducing what the national government has.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
It was already allocated. It has nothing to do with NGAF. It has nothing to do with the CDF. It has nothing to do with all the things that the MPs were getting purple-faced about. Nothing of that sort. Okay? So, what really is the trigger here?
It was just basically to say we cannot approve a higher allocation to counties.
Okay. They have to approve, and they were simply saying they cannot approve.
They cannot approve.
Oh.
And the best way to fight it is to say, if we give them, it means that we deny ourselves.
But it doesn't
you
work.
see,
that.
CDF is themselves.
Yes.
It means if we give counties, we are denying ourselves.
No.
That is the argument that was being put here by those that were pushing for the rejection of this amendment.
So they're getting shrill on an issue that they have completely and absolutely misdirected, meaning they've decided from the get-go, this is the angle we are going to take.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And if you don't see logic in it, that's your problem.
That's your problem.
But this is the angle we are going to take.
This is our logic, and this is the reason why we are going to reject this whole conversation.
Eric, there's something that I've read that I need to bring to your attention. What happened to Otieno? Otieno was on a walkabout.
Okay.
He got an attack.
Okay.
A neighbor, someone who lived near where they live, there were some solar gadgets in the garden. He took it and went and knocked on the door of the neighbor.
Okay.
The neighbor called the police. His mother came to retrieve him, okay? Because they were neighbors.
Okay.
But when the policeman came, it is reported that the police said this guy turned violent. So when he turned violent is when they sought to restrain him. Now in the process, he went to hospital, yes, but died. But something else happened. The governor said, you know something, let's fast forward something that will act as, at least alleviate the pain the family is feeling. So some compensation is due. Now there is no indication of an admission of guilt. What we have is 5 of the officers being discharged. Or the court saying these guys have no case to answer, but the others still do have a case to answer. Yes.
And the compensation?
No amounts are mentioned here. The government just pushed so that the whole process would be fast forwarded and that the family would get it. They say, look, it can't replace the life, but it will at least give some reprieve, hopefully. That's what they said.
Oh, yeah.
It is true. It cannot possibly replace the life.
Yeah.
It cannot possibly compensate for the life.
So he was mentally ill?
He was mentally ill. He was bipolar.
Wow. Wow. It's a sad one. It's a sad one.
Then there was this story of an uproar over the dominance of Kenyans in African CDC jobs. More specifically, Kenyans and Ethiopians. Okay?
Yeah.
The story is exactly as you and I discussed it in summary. The understanding is that, yes, this organization, which was formed in 2017, yes, the audit that is being spoken of was actually directed by the new Director General of this organization and said, no, we just need an audit so that we understand exactly where we are. There's a lady by the name of Dr. Jean Kaseya. She became the Director General in April last year. And this is the first thing she did. Okay? But the thing is that from 2019, the head of Africa CDC was the Kenyan Global Health Specialist, a gentleman by the name of Dr. Ahmed Omar. We've had him in the studio here.
Yeah.
And we spoke about some of these things. So according to this report, in order to streamline this gender, community, ethnic, country balance, according to this report, Dr. Ouma was gently ushered out. Gently, according to this report.
Right.
Yes. But he says, according to him, he was leaving the organization to pursue other interests. Yes, that is the official statements. Okay. But this opens the discussion to a much wider scope, as you and I were discussing. Let's look at the AU and look at the employees. Because this is the body that unites all the people in this. What's the balance in the AU? Let's look at other organizations that are within the continent, which are of an international nature, and we look at the composition. You will find that in many of these instances, there'll be communities within this continent who dominate it. Yes. Some even the UN bodies. So the question is this: are we focusing on the numbers of people, or are we saying that they were not suitable for those jobs, or that they were not competitively hired? What are we saying?
Isn't that the thing? How many considerations should actually be on the table when hiring people into these regional and continental and global bodies?
Yes.
Because you see, you are representing, you want to have the face of the membership of this institution. If it's a CDC, Africa CDC, the member states need to have a face of it.
They do.
You need to have a face when it comes to AFDB. You need to have a face when it comes to the AU Commission. You need to have a face of Africa. So when you're hiring, then shall you be having now this other metric that says, okay, so we have hit the threshold for the number of people from East Africa. So the next position that we are filling out, a person from East Africa will actually not have as many points. A person from Central Africa gets an extra point because they're from Central Africa.
And such a matrix, if it exists, is it clear?
Is it clear?
So that people know going in that this is how we go about filling these positions.
The next one now, we look like now the way we're talking about the AU Commission chairperson. The EU Commission chairperson now, after all this conversation, is okay. So it's time for the East African countries to produce the next chair of the AU Commission. All right, and it has but it has sort of like settled. The next chair should come from
East Africa,
East African countries.
Yes,
should it be the same thing?
If it is,
you look at so in this cadre of jobs, you have this is the composition: West Africans, East Africans, Central Africans, North Africans, Southern Africans, blah 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 blah, islands. Okay, so within East Africa, then now you guys deal with your own issues. East Africa. How many are from Kenya? How many are from Uganda? How many are from Somalia? How many are from South Sudan? How many are from... So should we also be trying to balance and saying, all right, so we have so many Kenyans, we need a South Sudanese person to come and fill so that the East African basket looks well represented.
It's well represented, yes.
That's a huge... That's a whole...
You see, before this discussion is had and is understood, in all fairness... one needs to be presented with, as I said, the matrix that you use to employ people. And then that way it will be easy to determine what should happen where and how. But if it's just a discussion...
there are too many. It's the same thing that happens in government every time that report comes out.
Yes.
It's the Kikuyus and the Kalenjins and Luos who dominate public service.
Yes, okay. And then someone will say, no, but this particular Ninio, it's the Kisis who dominated. I say,
can never win it. Some good news, City.
Yes.
The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has postponed the execution of a Kenyan accused of killing his workmate, with the government of Kenya yesterday announcing that it's in talks to find a more acceptable conclusion to this matter. Stephen Bertrand Munyaho, who has been in jail for 13 years over the killing of his workmate, identified as Abdul Halim Mujahid Makrad Saleh in 2011, was to be executed tomorrow. It was to happen tomorrow. Foreign Affairs PS Korir Singhoe said that the Saudi Arabian government had agreed to Kenya's request to suspend the execution to allow for further negotiations. He says, as we devise strategies to bring this matter to a more acceptable conclusion and thereby giving both families the closure they so urgently need and deserve, We shall continue to lean on the warm and solid friendship that we have with our Saudi partners, as well as on the goodwill of all Kenyans. Dr. Singoe indicated that various stakeholders from both countries, including religious leaders, will be involved in the negotiations. The troubles facing Munyaho, who is now aged 50, started in 2011 when he killed Abdul, whom he worked with at a warehouse during an altercation. Abdul's family initially demanded to be paid 400 million shillings for Munyaho's life to be spared. This amount was later negotiated downwards to 150 million shillings, which his family has been struggling to crowdfund. We hosted his mother here.
We did.
Veteran journalist. And you could just see the pain in her, saying, look, this happened. It's the law and custom in this country.
Yes, it is.
We have talked to the widow. The widow says, all right, you guys, sour, not 400 million, bring 150. Now they're trying to raise 150 million shillings. You know the struggle of raising 150 million shillings crowdfunding.
Eric, let's start with the difficulty of raising even $1 million.
Yeah.
Forget these amounts of monies you hear being branded about that politicians have donated. Where? It is not easy.
The raising $1 million bob. And now they were struggling just to raise 150. They had gone far. They had raised some tens of millions. But still, by tomorrow, they would not have hit it.
No, they wouldn't.
And tomorrow, according to this law,
you would have been executed.
Would have been executed. It's a good thing here by Korir Singoe and all the efforts that have been happening behind the scenes. Yeah.
That is very good news.
That's very, very good.
And this is something that very, very many people have gotten involved in.
Yep.
Yes. A committee was even formed.
Yep.
I remember it was being chaired by
Odindo.
Yes. To try and see how best that this Joseph Odindo, how best this thing can be managed. It is good that the compatriots whom she had worked with, even in the nation, came forward and decided, yes, it is good. It is a good thing.
News time, 7 a.m.
Good morning, this is Newswire Dennis Saseto. Learning officially resumed in schools after being postponed for 2 weeks due to the effects of the floods. In addition, some students are expected to report today all the way to Thursday due to the schedules given by the head teachers of their schools. In Garsen Lamu Road, transport activities were disabled due to floods after the Tana River broke its banks and forced students to use boats to be transported for over 2 kilometers to their various destinations. Speaking at the opening ceremony of Lenana Primary School in Ngando area here in Nairobi, President William Ruto has called on parents to send their children back to school as the rains have since subsided.
Jumatatu hii tarehe 13 tunafungua shule zote Kenya kwa sababu sasa mvua imetulia, mafuriko imeenda chini na tumesema tumeweka pesa ya kutosha na wabunge wetu kupitia hazina ya ZDF ya kwamba kama kuna mashule imeharibika, sehemu zingine zimeharibika, vifaa shuleni zimeharibika, zitatengenezwa ndio watoto wetu wote wapate nafasi ya kusoma. So leo shule zetu zote zinafunguliwa Kenya.
A similar statement was made by Education Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Machogu, who admitted that over 1 billion shillings has been allocated for the construction and the refurbishment of more schools in Nairobi County.
Your Excellency, fire ile ambayo uliagiza tukiwa kule Roysambu ya kwamba sisi kama Ministry ya Education tushirikiane pamoja na wachumbe pamoja na county, tunafanya hivyo, na ile pesa ambayo ulisema itolewe bilioni 1 katika Nairobi ndio iweze kujenga public schools, kwa sababu uliona ya kwamba hakuna nafasi ya kutosha ya watoto wetu kuingia katika mashule katika Nairobi hii, iwe primary iwe secondary.
Although schools have reopened for the second time, more than 2,000 schools will remain closed after the infrastructure was damaged by the floods, which with some being used as camps for flood victims. In Kisumu County, for example, students have to interact with the flood victims, a situation that is crippling studies.
Kuna pali pa kuenda, abati yenyewe iko chini. Sasa hatuna pali hakuna venye tutaanza. Maji lienda, tuna nguo na vitabu. Sasa sikukuwa na chochote ya kupeleka nayo mtoto shule, ilibidi tu wasiende leo.
So we have demarcated a place for them so that they reside there, and we also, our learners, we keep them here. We have to find a way of coexisting with them. Yeah, because some of them are also our parents.
This is happening while the Council of Churches criticized the government for ordering the schools reopened without proper planning.
There are some families, their documents have been destroyed by water. They don't have homes. They are homeless, actually. They are homeless. Their major worry is not how to take their children to school. Their major worry is, where are we going to stay? So I think sometimes we have to be sober enough.
Now, as schools reopened now to a compressed and uncertain second term after a 2-week extension of the April holidays due to the heavy rains, but junior secondary school teachers continued their protest to pressurize and demand that the government hires them on permanent contracts. The teachers in Nyeri County insist that the Teacher Service Commission has violated the court order to implement that demand.
Today, we are again on the road, and we are saying internship remains to be legal according to the courts. We cannot stand and look at MPs issuing letters anyhowly in funerals as if we are painters and cleaners.
Mwalimu ni mtu amesoma. Kwa hivyo nataka kuambia serikali yetu, tunataka confirmation and compensation.
And in Nakuru County, the teachers have vowed to return to work until they're hired on permanent basis.
We want to tell the government that today, as junior school teachers, we have laid down our tools. We are not going back to school because the government is not taking junior schools and CBC serious. They told us that when we come to junior school, we will serve for an internship period of 1 year.
There are similar protests in Eldoret County.
Here we are today in solidarity with our fellow teachers of junior school across the country. We are here today telling the nation that the teachers of junior school are suffering so much. Internship is illegal. We want to advocate for our rights. We are not going back to school until that time when the government will take us back to class with our permanent and pensionable.
We came from secondary school full of knowledge.
This is News. I'm Dennis. I said a good morning.
SpiceFM, Nakuru.
How's it looking like? Well, it's at that time, so it's getting into peak morning traffic time. Thika Road heading towards town is okay, just doing the usual, so it's beginning now at past KCA University at the junction with Outer Ring Road heading towards town. Kiambu Road is beginning at DCI headquarters. You know the thing with Landis Road. Yeah, you know the thing with North Airport Road. Yeah, you know the thing with Langata Road. Yeah, you know the thing with Ngong Road. Yes, all those things are happening this morning. Limuru Road heading towards town is busy in Muthaiga, and then you come in at Parklands area. It's moving. But then Ngara into Muranga Road into the roundabout, the Globe Cinema roundabout, it's busy, but it's moving. Now, if there's any major issue that we can alert somebody else about, please tag us on X at SpiceFM KE.
This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Oko, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latin, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is The Situation Room the only way to start your day.
7 minutes after 7. Thank you very much for tuning in to Kenya's biggest conversation, the Situation Room, this lovely Tuesday morning. It's the 14th day of May 2024, aka IPRA Day. So let's wait and see how the prices will change today, later in the day. Kerry reminds you that for you to actually be able to generate the eTIMS invoice, which is now a requirement, many of the people that you supply to will ask you for an eTIMS invoice. It's very simple for you to actually generate one. Number one, register for eTIMS by going on to ecitizen.kra.go.ke. That's ecitizen.kra.go.ke. That's on the eCitizen platform. Basically, you're going into the KRA portal on eCitizen and you're able to register for eTIMS, Electronic Tax Invoice Management System. Once you get in there, what you will do is, if you're not registered for eTIMS, you will register for eTIMS. Okay? Simple thing number one. Simple thing number two, once you've registered for eTIMS, and now it's time for you to generate an invoice, you just go and say generate invoice. So if you can generate an invoice, you get the PIN number of the person that you're invoicing or the entity that you're invoicing, individual or company. You key in the PIN number, just get to know the name of the individual or company, and then it'll auto-populate. Once you put in the PIN, it brings the name that it has, KRA has in their records. That's associated with this PIN number. Okay? You select it, and then you go in and key in the details. So what are you invoicing for? Goods, services. All right, goods, services, put in there the details. Quantity, put in the quantity. Amount, put in the amount. Total, put in the total. That's it. Done. This is especially for those that are not VAT registered. Sawa? It's just a simple requirement, and it's as simple as A, B, C. Like that, like that. Today is Tuesday. For many of us who are Arsenal fans, today is the day that we know that we are winning the league, because Manchester City is playing Tottenham tonight. And Tottenham fighting to play in Europa next season. And Man City would like to win the league this season. Or so they think. So tonight there's a game. How do you watch that game? You can actually watch this game wherever you are. If you are on
Showmax.
Bas. Simple. Right? So in Showmax, it's possible for you to watch live football matches. The English Premier League, it's coming to an end this weekend. These few days that are remaining, there's a lot that's going on. There are many games that are going on. Last night, Liverpool was playing. Tonight, Man City and Tottenham are playing. Coming up all the way up to Sunday. And then for the first time in 20 years, Arsenal lifts the Premier League trophy.
20 years?
Yes.
20?
Yes.
That's a long wait, huh?
My daughter supports Arsenal.
So do you?
She's marking 20 years. On her 20th birthday. So, Showmax is saying, yeah, you can watch all these games as we're heading towards the final of the English Premier League season this season. How do you do that? Just download Showmax on your phone or on your tablet or on your gadget, on your laptop. And this is Showmax on Play Store or App Store, or go to showmax.com and you can watch it as well there. Just subscribe, choose a subscription, choose the one that gives you live football or live sports. You will watch, you'll enjoy. It's the way to go, right? And that's what Showmax is saying. Shika Showmax. Sindio?
Kabisa.
Very good. So we'd invited two gentlemen to join us in the next conversation. One of them is the Honorable Justice Dr. Emmanuel Aibuta, Court of Appeal Judge. Unfortunately, he will not be able to make it. But the other person is here and was here in good time. Julius Mbura is a digital inclusion ambassador. They're here to talk to us about digital inclusion for persons with disability. Julius, good morning.
Morning, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Karibu sana to Kenya's biggest conversation.
Yes, I listen to you guys.
Really?
Yeah.
Very good.
Mornings.
You're a good man. You're a very good man.
Yeah.
That is the hot seat of the situation. How does it feel?
It's
not yet hot,
good.
It's good. It's comfortable.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
So now listen to C.T. Muga. with the day's proverb. You listen to us, so you know the drill, right?
Yeah.
So this week the proverbs are from which country, city?
The Republic of Malawi.
The Republic of Malawi.
Yes.
Tell us a bit more about Malawi.
Well,
that's where Tim Kamuzu Banda was president.
Yes.
Who's the current president?
The current president is a gentleman by the name of Lazarus Chakwera.
Aha,
That is, yes, El Presidente. He has a vice president, actually. The gentleman is called Saulos Chilima.
Did they have to put the S on the Saulo? Saulos.
Well, it's just one person. There's no plural to it. Okay. So don't assume that there are many.
There are many Saulo.
One Saulo, two Saulos. No. It's just one.
Okay.
This country has a population of around 21 million people. Okay. They got their independence on the 8th of July, 1966.
Very good.
Now, very friendly. They are our friends.
They are, eh?
Marafiki zetu sana. Their current president is also a great friend of the country, having lived there for quite a while.
Yes.
The capital is called... Okay, listen, I have to ask. Listen, I'm going to leave it.
Julius?
Julius.
What's the capital of Malawi?
Let's see if you remember.
History kidogo.
Kidogo tu.
Malawi. Kinshasa?
Good man. For effort, I give you 100%. But in terms of accuracy, 0. It's Lilongwe. Yes.
So Lilongwe is the what capital?
Actually, Lilongwe is the capital.
Is the everything capital?
It's the everything capital.
So Blantyre is just like a Mombasa?
Just like Mombasa too.
Okay.
Yes.
So, okay. Haya. The proverb.
The proverb. The person-in-law of lightning is not afraid of thunder.
The person-in-law of lightning is not afraid of thunder.
No.
Do you get the proverb, Julius?
I do. Person-in-law of lightning is not afraid of the thunder.
Yeah.
I think this comes to sort of like bring perspective of your actions have consequences. Because lightning travels faster than light. It's light, so it travels faster than sound. So by the time lightning is, you have lightning and thunder, then if you have lightning, you should deal with thunder as well.
You know, the beauty of your interpretation is that it opens our eyes to interpretations that we ourselves would never have thought of.
Yeah.
So that is good, excellent. You know, I chose this proverb because it puzzled me also. But what I liked about it was somebody gave human life, okay? They animated lightning. And they said lightning has relatives, it has in-laws. Yes. So I wondered now, who are the in-laws of lightning?
Yeah.
Exactly. So when they say that the person-in-law of lightning is not afraid of thunder, who's afraid of their relative? Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thunder is a relative of lightning.
Yes, it is. They are actually very close relatives.
Very good.
If you have one, the other one will be around the corner.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So, Julius.
Yes.
Digital inclusion for persons with disability.
Yes.
You're a champion of this.
Yeah.
You're an ambassador of this.
Yeah.
You have a disability.
Yes.
What's your disability?
My disability is blindness.
Okay.
And ironically, no one can tell. If I don't have my white cane, you wouldn't tell that I'm blind.
Yep.
Because it's invisible, and at the same time, it's sight related. So my eyes look normal, but I have a condition called retinitis pigmentosa that affects the retina. And retina is at the back of the eye. So by just looking at me, you wouldn't tell that I'm actually blind. Yeah.
Could you talk a little bit more about this condition? What causes it? How it comes about? Yes.
Yeah. So it's genetic, and you can imagine by now I'm sort of like an expert of the condition. I've read about it. I've gone to the depths of knowing how it manifests. So it goes down generations, and it's dominant in men. and the cause is genetics. So the way the DNA and the lack of those biological strands, and you have different types of RP, as it's called in the medical field. It's supposed to actually be degenerative, and you're supposed to lose sight over the years. Progressively. There is a very aggressive strain, which I have, and that is very erratic in how it manifests. So I've lost my sight twice, and the first time I was 10 years, then my body sort of like started fighting back, and the underlying condition I have is called maculopathy. So they sort of like, the way you say it, relatives, they work together. And through cell regeneration, I got my sight back, but low vision. So I could see like 1 meter. Then lost it again 2019. That is 3 weeks to my bar exams. The beauty of it is I had...
So after the age of 10, you regained your sight, well...
Yeah, after like a year and a half.
But you were okay. So at 10, you were still in primary school. So you went through secondary school, through university.
Yeah.
You could see.
Low vision, yeah.
Low vision, but you could see, right?
Yeah, a bit, yeah.
You studied law, as you just said, by exam.
I did law, yeah.
So you did, through university, you went to the Kenya School of Law.
Yeah.
You were okay.
Yeah.
When you were about to sit your bar exam at the Kenya School of Law.
I lost it.
How did that happen?
Lights out.
How did that happen?
So it's a funny story. So I used to get, I've never gotten migraines before. But this time they started coming, and you know how you have a gut feeling, something is really bad. So I'd get like episodes. Like today I have like severe migraine. I can't even like hear myself think. To a point where I could like hit my head on the wall to sort of like quiet the pain inside. And this day I go to KSL as usual. I was living in Rongai, and coming back home, I think, you know how you get used to an environment, like the way now I move by myself independently. So you know the corners, you know the feel of the road. So I thought I could see, and I think I lost my sight along the way coming home. And getting off the matatu, there's a stretch. It was around 700-800 meters, and going up a hill, it was slopey terrain. I hear a boda coming, but then I'm trying to discern where it's coming from. My periphery was better than my central vision. That's another indicator of my aggressive strain, because normally when you have RP, it affects the periphery, but your central vision is better. So for me to see, like to sort of like harness all my sight, I used to like put my head aside a bit, and this time it was not working. So I try hard, this side, the left side, right side, but by the time I was making the decision of going to the left side to evade the boda coming, it was too late, because the guy was going to his right, which was my left, and he hit me. That's how I knew now I'm actually blind.
That's when you realized you actually could not see at all.
Yeah.
Did you have eyeglasses?
I used eyeglasses. So when I got my sight back, this is 2003, and it got to a place where I could read and write with my naked eyes. But after like 6 months, started going down again, and I was prescribed for glasses, which you call positives, magnifying lenses. And I started with positive 14s. By the time I was quitting, I was at positive 25. This is in class 8. So I can tell you, it actually took a toll on me. And doctors were like, you need to go back to Braille, so that you preserve that little sight you have. So even my KCPE, I sat for my KCPE with really big struggles. Like they gave me, what do you call it, large print, 18, but I could still strain and have, like, you when you strain too much, you start having headaches. Yeah. So we made the decision of doing pure Braille in high school, even though I had passed for KCPE because I had an A, 400 out of 500 marks. I had to look for a school that would accommodate me, and all the national schools had that one problem of they didn't have inclusivity all the way.
Yes.
So I had to go back.
Let me just stop again. All national schools did not have the facility to accommodate somebody who had your disability.
In theory, yes. But I went to all these schools. I used to ask them one question. If I come here and I'm using Braille fully, will that work? We will employ a teacher. We will have this. We'll have this. I was like, I need to go to an environment that really understands me.
Yeah.
And that was Thika High School for the Blind. I was like, for me to make it in life, my environment and circumstances don't define me. Yeah.
So you went to Thika High School for the Blind?
Yes.
And this is where you sat for your KCSE then?
Yes.
And went to university?
Went to university.
What university?
University of Nairobi.
How was it in terms of inclusivity?
It was a fight, I won't lie. I'd been given Kenyatta University, special education. But I told these guys, I don't think my path is on training as a teacher. But they kept on telling me, this is a way of giving back because it's special education, blah, blah, blah. I was like, no, I can give back in so many other ways. So my cut points had allowed me to do any course on the list that normally have. And special education was my fifth and last option on the list. But that is what I was given. Number one, I wanted to do international relations. Number two, I wanted to do diplomacy. I wanted to do film and theater technology. And I wanted now to do law. Those were on my list. Law was on the fourth. But I chose law because of the back and forth we had with these guys. And I was like, I really need to do something that will give me an upper hand to push for change from policy level and legislation.
Brilliant.
Advocacy.
So, after you, of course, now you've discovered that you're blind. It's just 3 weeks to your bar exam. Did you actually manage to see that exam, or did you?
I sat for it because I was using a computer with a screen reader.
Okay.
So there was no difference.
Okay.
But I remember I didn't even tell my family until I finished for my papers. I remember I used to have bad migraines until the invigilators would tell me to defer for the papers. And I was like, I sacrificed so much to be here and I won't quit now. I'll see it through. Pun intended.
Nice one.
Yeah.
So now you are an ambassador for digital inclusion.
Yes.
Okay. So Braille is analog.
Yes, but Braille is like essential.
It's essential.
Yeah.
What does digital inclusion mean?
Digital inclusion means that there are no impediments for anyone, regardless of your ability, to access information, access digital assets in any way.
Explain.
So the digital environment, sources from coding, creating environments like websites, apps, and portals, platforms, social media, all these things that you need to get online to access. If they're not made accessible, then a big chunk of the population, and majority being persons with disabilities, are not able to interact with these assets. So when you talk about digital inclusion, you're basically eliminating all barriers that would hinder a person who has a disability to interact or use or operate some of these systems.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you on social media yourself?
I am. All of them.
What do you mean all of them?
Talk about TikTok,
X, Instagram,
yes,
Facebook,
YouTube, even though it's not sort of like a social media per se.
So how do you access those?
Through digital accessibility.
Okay.
Yes.
So how?
So I have a phone. My phone has accessibility features. This is what we call assistive technology. And when I'm getting online or even operating my phone, even like simple tasks as messaging or calling, my screen reader voices out. So that's how I'm able to navigate.
Okay.
And when I'm typing out, it actually voices out whatever I'm writing as well.
Do you mind demonstrating that for us right now?
Let me do that.
Get onto X. We are on SpiceFM KE on X.
SpiceFM. I've actually tagged you guys.
Yep.
I did a post just before coming in. So let me. So I put my mobile data on.
Page 1 of 3. Adjustable. Page 2 of 3. Page 3 of 3. CapEx. 6 new items.
What is it saying? What's up?
So that's the screen reader now. It's called VoiceOver. And even Android, I'm using an iPhone, so this is VoiceOver, but for Android, it's called TalkBack. And basically, for you guys, you don't need it. That's why you don't put it on. For me, this is everything, because that's how I even know what's happening with my phone. Like, my screen has dimmed.
Okay.
Even though I don't need the light.
Notifications tab.
So I have notifications.
That person in your phone is talking rather fast.
Yeah. So I can reduce the speed. That's the beauty of it.
Containers. Speaking rate. 90%.
So I'm at 90%.
Okay.
Normally I use 100%.
And you understand.
I understand. Yeah. 100% over 100%.
Okay.
So let me just demonstrate. I reduce the speed.
85%, 80%, 75%, 70%, 65%, 60%, 55%, 50%.
Now you can hear? I love that. Every time I do it, people are like, now I can hear. But you know, the beauty of it is once you start using it over a period of time, you get accustomed and you start increasing the speed without you knowing.
Right.
Yeah.
So get onto it again. Just
yes.
Okay. I want us to go into a break. I want you to get onto X, right?
So
and post that you're here.
Speaking rate.
So I'll just increase the speed because this is too slow for me.
Okay. So you do your thing.
80%, 85%, 90%.
Okay.
Post button.
So let me say. So let me do it a notch higher.
Okay.
So I'll dark the screen.
Okay.
So that it doesn't seem like I know where I'm typing.
Okay.
And you give me the words.
Just get on to, just say, enjoying a conversation in the situation room.
Enjoying
a conversation. In the situation room. At SpiceFM KE. And Edna, you can show the screen. We are putting on our mentions.
Yes, got a new guys. So that's it. Let me. I have put the light on now.
Okay.
And let me.
Enjoying a conversation in the situation room.
Yes.
At SpiceFM KE.
Yes, so I want to now release it.
Post it.
Posting.
Let's see it on the screen.
Your post was sent. So should be live now.
Selected. Notifications tab. 6 new items. Selected. Notifications tab. 6 new items. Karen, you're posted your repost. Digital inclusion for people with disabilities. 7 a.m. and hashtag the situation.
You're at J Supercharge.
Yes.
That's you.
Yeah.
At J Supercharge.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm refreshing. Internet sijui imeenda wapi sijui what.
Wamesema tutateseka kwa muda.
Sijui mateso ni ya muda. Here it is, enjoying a conversation in the situation room at SpiceFM KE. So it's easy for you to actually now do this and interact on social media.
Yeah.
And digital platforms.
Yes.
And access digital services.
Yes.
And you want everybody to be able to do this.
I want everybody to be able to do this.
Let's talk about that then after the break.
Yes.
Julius Mbura at J Supercharge on X is our guest this morning. He's a digital inclusion ambassador. He is, how do you say it?
Blind?
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be right. He's blind.
Or you can say VIP, visually impaired person.
That's what I was looking for. Yeah. He's visually impaired. He's our guest. We're talking about digital inclusion for everybody, making sure that everybody has this. Back shortly. Good morning.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Experience the vibrant pulse of Africa at Festac Africa Festival 2024 in Kisumu. Join us for a week-long celebration of culture, music, fashion, and more from May 20th to 26th. Dive into sustainable growth with food, arts, education, and youth empowerment. Don't miss Africa's premier Pan-African and global cultural exchange program. Get your tickets now. 1 day for 500 Kenya shillings or the full week for 2,000 Kenya shillings. Kisumu County welcomes the world to be part of Africa's forward movement. Act fast and secure your spot in this unforgettable journey. To register, just go to www.festacafrica.org. This season, we're celebrating the heartbeat of every family. Moms. Treat mom to an unforgettable shopping experience at Sarit, her ultimate shopping destination. Discover a wide array of gifts across various categories that cater to every mom's taste. Earn and redeem points with our Sarit loyalty app. Enjoy prepaid parking and snag gift vouchers. Plus, don't miss out on picking up your Mother's Day coloring card at customer care this month. Share your creations and tag us on @SaritYourCity. Visit www.sarityourcity.com for more details. Join us for Sarit's exclusive Mother's Month celebration. Don't miss out.
Seek so much more from the Premier League on your phone or tablet with Showmax.
Skips around,
With Showmax, you can pause and rewind live matches and start them late and watch them as live if you are late. And Showmax has a range of data-saving options so that your network doesn't affect your fun.
It's ended up in the back of the net. It's just a Kabore.
Shika, so much more from the Premier League.
Day in Nairobi, highs of 24 later today. Mombasa, sunny day, highs of 31. Malindi, sunny, currently at 27. Nakuru, sunny at 15. Nyeri town, sunny at 16. Kakamega, sunny at 18. Eldoret, sunny at 13. Later on, Kisumu will be highs of 29, currently sunny at 21. Kampala, sunny at 22. Lagos, mostly cloudy at 26. Mogadishu, sunny at 28. Mostly sunny in Addis Ababa at 17. Dar es Salaam, sunny at 25. Johannesburg, mostly cloudy at 12. Kinshasa, partly cloudy at 24. Paris, 16. Raining in Paris. Heavy rain in London at 15. Clear skies at 16 in New York. And mostly sunny afternoon in Beijing, 31.
Some really nice, much fun music.
They really took me back to my days, and I can just feel young again and enjoy the vibes.
Spice.
I'm a big listener of SpiceFM.
You play the best music.
This is 94.4 Spice FM.
Mbagathi Road into the City Mortuary roundabout, very busy. Mbagathi Road out of T-Mall Junction, very, very busy. Heading into T-Mall also very busy. Langata Road is busy, heading out of T-Mall, heading towards the Madaraka Estate. And then Douglas Wakehori Road is busy into Bunyala roundabout. We had an issue with Bunyala roundabout yesterday. It was very busy. It's also very, very busy today. Bunyala roundabout into Uhuru Highway, out of Uhuru Highway into Upper Hill, pretty busy. Langata Road heading into Lusaka Road and Nyayo Stadium roundabout is also busy. The expressway is busy at the exit at Capital Center. And then we also have busy roads within South Sea heading into Nairobi West. That's what's happening on that side. On this other side, east of Nairobi, Jogoo Road, very busy all the way from Manyanja Road coming into City Stadium roundabout and out of there into the Landis Road along Machakos bus station, very busy. Wakulima Market on Haile Selassie is very busy. Ngara is busy, that's Muranga Road. Coming into town, it's pretty busy. And then, Thika Road, it's the usual. Thika Road, Kiambu Road. The thing that's happening now is a thing that happens every morning. SpiceFM KE on X.
Some very nice, mature music.
It really took me back to my days, and I can just feel and enjoy the vibes.
Spice.
I'm a big listener of SpiceFM.
You play the best music.
This is 94.4 Spice FM. Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM.
20 minutes to 8. Our conversation continues with Julius Mbura. He's a digital inclusion ambassador. He's here with us in the studio. Digital inclusion for people with disability. And that's what we're talking about. So you've shown us what, access you have to digital platforms despite your disability.
Yeah.
Now, how does it work for other disabilities?
For other disabilities, it's sort of like, because even like on my accessibility pocket and the features, you have a variety of them. So for me, because I'm blind, I have activated voiceover.
Yeah.
For someone who's low vision, they'll activate magnifying capabilities. And then you have other intervening apps that actually come to play for you to actually now interact with the phone fully, functionally. And for example, deaf, they have transcription features where now if you talk, it will transcribe if you don't know sign language. And now we have innovations that are coming to sort of like solve the problem that has been there over the years. And you can have even like live sign language, AI, having to sign for a person who's deaf.
All right.
Yeah, so there are pretty many, and people don't know about these features until they interact with them. Most of the time, people are like, no, that can't be. You can't use, and how are you using, and how are you able to interact, to reply to me, especially on X.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the time, I'm sure you're having conversations with people on X, and they're thinking, this guy, he has an assistant.
Yeah.
He's dictating.
Yeah. Even when people are sort of like sending messages to me, they're like, I want to talk to.
Yeah, please tell Julia.
Yeah. And I'm like, I'm the one replying.
So when you push for this, as you advocate for digital inclusion, where are you positioning it? You said you pursued law because you'd like to change things from a policy level, from a legislative framework. So let's start it from policy level. What changes are needed to ensure digital inclusion?
I'd say we need a lot of change. As the advocacy officer at Enable and head of computer assistive technology, we've been able to, and two years ago, we launched the first ever ICT accessibility standard. It's called KS 2952. It's actually for free at KEB's website. And all this is made possible because of like-minded individuals who see the gap and are willing to go all the way to make sure that persons with disabilities...
Sorry, Julius, you said this is a disability standard.
It's it's a ICT accessibility standard.
ICT accessibility standard.
Yeah.
What's that? Please start from that basic.
So KEBS has ways of having standards that are enforceable.
Yep.
That would tell you, even for this radio station, you have standards that are regulated by Communications Authority.
Yep.
But it has to be structured. And you're given guidelines. This is how you need to do these things. For us, as Enable, we looked at standards that are working. And the EN 301549, which is a European standard, that gives a breakdown of how the digital environment is supposed to be accessible. They had done a really good job. So their standard is demarcated. It has hardware, software, digital documents, and all these things, even like spaces. If you're going to an ATM, how much space do you need if you have a wheelchair? The forward front reach and the side reach, because you need to move around. And all these things are guided by the World Web Guidelines, WCAG, and it's getting technical. But the bottom line is they're supposed to give you a way to do things in an accessible manner,
right?
And also include everyone, having universal design.
So now Kenya has a standard.
We have a standard.
Okay.
And now we are in the face of mainstreaming the standard for the whole of Africa.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does having a standard now then mean for a person with disability?
It means that's one right step to the right direction, because for procurement agencies, the government, persons who are in decision making for all these digital assets, they can actually now follow the standard to make the digital environment more accessible and accommodative to persons with disabilities. And I'm talking about even like the built environment.
Okay.
Like the traffic lights.
Yep. I
in
wanted
Kenya,
to come into that.
Yeah, I cannot cross the road by myself. Okay, I cross, but it has its risks. I've been hit by cars a couple of times in this CBD. So that autonomy of persons with disabilities, not having to depend on other people, that is what we are preaching.
Is that also part of digital inclusion?
Yes, because
traffic signs,
yeah, because they have a software. They need to get information from somewhere else, a central system that will now command. And when the traffic lights are going, red or green, then there's voice output. For example, you get into an elevator. Sometimes you hear the elevator voice out that you're on second floor.
Yes.
That floor.
Yes.
That is how I know that I've actually arrived.
Okay.
And then
is that digital inclusion?
That is digital inclusion.
I see.
Yeah. And then the buttons, they have braille on them.
Yeah.
So I don't need someone to press for me, the third floor, fourth floor. I can do that. For example, this morning I got out of my room, got into the elevator, went down. I had ordered for a cab. You see, all that is digital inclusion.
Right.
I ordered for a cab in my room.
Right.
Talked to the driver. Yes, I'm at Radisson, pull up. Went to the elevator, went down, got into the cab. Here I am.
So digital inclusion is not just on using of gadgets. It goes beyond this. It goes into
it's your daily life, really.
It's your daily life.
Yeah, it's a wholesome, because now if you look at it, we all depend on tech to get around and to do stuff. Then why can't we make it inclusive so that persons with disabilities can enjoy on the same level that everyone else is?
Okay.
Yeah.
So what else do we need to do?
We need to change a lot, starting with attitude, stigma, discrimination. And that's why we normally hold the Inclusive Africa Conference, which is actually starting today. And we bring the uncomfortable conversations. like mental health. People don't think about disability. Persons with disabilities have the worst mental health issues because you have trauma, you have self-acceptance, self-esteem, sense of belief, all these things impacting you. And if you don't position yourself nicely, if you don't have people around you who can actually take care of your mental health, then you start crumbling. You have GBV, persons with disabilities being very much affected by it. We have innovations. Of course, these now drive positive solutions to bring disability inclusion into the picture. And then we have all these discussions starting with the fundamentals like education, going all the way to now the emerging trends like AI and all this good stuff, making it a very progressive society. So we start small, but we make sure that we are very intentional, very deliberate in ensuring that we are not excluding anyone in the society. And that's why we bring 20 different African countries and beyond, the likes of Google, Microsoft, Meta, to now bring all these discussions on the table and look at the gaps and then try solve the gaps one step at a time.
You say we. Who's
yes.
we?
We is Enable and the partners.
Enable?
Enable.
Enable.
Yes, I-N-able. Then we have now
Who's
partners.
Enable?
Enable is a non-profit organization that empowers persons with disabilities through assistive technology, digital accessibility, and disability inclusion.
The question that is always asked when we're dealing with matters of disability is how far does this stretch? Because you've given us the journey you've gone through.
Yeah.
There are others who are going through this journey.
Yeah.
They are in primary school. Well, let's start from the time even before they get to primary school and so forth. Okay?
Yeah.
Do we have the facilities in this country to be able to diagnose and know about some of these conditions early enough? That's I've got three questions. That's number one. So that one understands the path that one would then need to follow to make the lives of these individuals or these disabilities better and easier. One. Two, do we have the facilities that are required? Because there's thicker school for those who are visually impaired. Yes, exactly. But beyond thicker, is there or are there other schools where individuals, because that's just one school in the whole country, are there other schools where one can go to? Does our Ministry of Education understand the need or the steps to take towards inclusivity so that people who have these impairments are not discriminated against just by virtue of that disability?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'll start with the first question.
Yes.
Do we have the facilities to actually detect some of these disabilities before they get to us, right? And I'd say yes. But again, and my mantra in life is we work with what we have. So we may not have the sophisticated, equipment, but at the time where a child is being born, we have facilities and capability to actually detect these disabilities. The problem comes in where there is high cost implication, where now you are telling a parent you need to cough out 200,000, 300,000, and then a lot of referrals. You need to go here, you need to go there. But most importantly, I think what needs to be done is ensure that even for health insurance, for example, do you know disability is not among, and we have severe disabilities. We're not talking about like my disability. You have people who need constant care and health interventions.
Yep.
So why can't we make insurance for these individuals accessible to them, for them to actually enjoy and alleviate some of these burdens cost-wise? So I'd say we have the capabilities of actually detecting at an early stage and having that journey easier for the parent and the community at large. but there's so many other mitigating factors, like misappropriation, misdiagnosis. Like for me, I got misdiagnosed. I was taken to a mentally challenged school before I was taken to Thika.
Sorry?
Yeah. At the age of 10, just before I lost my son.
How did they arrive at that conclusion?
You know how, and I think this goes into like, we need like stiff policies and all that. So I was taken to Kikuyu unit. They didn't see the problem because they were looking at the eye, not at the back of the eye. Okay. So we didn't have specialists at the time of the back of the eye.
Or the equipment that could do that.
Yes.
Okay.
So then I was taken to private doctors. And my mom, I remember, used to sort of like give a background. Oh, he's had this before. And this one doctor decided that cerebral malaria was part of this.
Right.
And I was mentally challenged. So I was taken to a mental school. And I remember that is where I actually got blind. And now we had to disarrange everything. And lucky enough, we had specialists who had come to Kenya to camp at Kenyatta. They actually saw the problem. So I'd say, yeah, we have ways and, capability of detecting. And again, coming to like, do we have now the journey now? Where now it's detected, do we have the journey? Yes, we do. We have 16 schools for the blind in Kenya. In Ebo, we are in 6 schools for the blind. And we've established computer labs with computer assistive technology, the screen readers and accessibility features for the blind to actually use these devices independently. We have integrated schools, and now what the Ministry of Education is doing is bringing inclusion into the picture. In the past, what used to happen is a blind student is taken to a mainstream school. So it's very hard for them to adapt what was supposed to happen to me in high school, going to national schools.
Yeah.
But now what is happening is you're bringing sighted students to the blind school, what used to be called special schools.
Yes.
The special needs education system. And now it's a symbiotic relationship because the sighted students will actually help the blind and visually impaired students to adapt and, because you don't have so many things like books, braille books, all these things. And that's why we are complementing braille with assistive technology, which is screen reader and accessibility features. So we have the special schools, even for the deaf, for physical disabilities, like Joytown. And now the aspect of having now the inclusive education system brings it closer for persons with disabilities to actually interact with the society from a young age, from the foundational level. And that's the best.
Is this being implemented across the board, or is it being piloted, for example, at Joytown?
I'd say, like now as we speak, it's being piloted at Thika High School for the Blind.
Okay.
I know other schools for visually impaired are sort of like getting into the game. And the integrated schools that we've had in the country, for example, the Kilimani Primary School, that system is now being prioritized.
Okay.
As an inclusive education system, rather than the integrated system that was there.
Are they digitally inclusive?
I'd say we are a long way from there, but at least we've experienced and witnessed steps. And
So
as enable
what needs to happen, for example, in pick a school like at Thika School for the Blind or at Kilimani Primary, so that it now becomes properly inclusive?
Yes. I'll give you an example with the project that we have.
Yeah.
We have a Chromebook project at Thika Primary School for the Blind and all the other schools that we're in, because we're in Thika, we're in St. Lucy's for the blind, in Meru, we are in St. Oda, in Siaya for the blind, and we're in Likoni Primary School for the blind. So in these schools, we had setup of labs, and that is still there, where students come to use their desktops. But you realize with the technology and advancements, we're having portable devices. So what we did with the partnership of Google, we've been able to purchase Chromebooks, and these Chromebooks, the students are now taking them to class.
Okay.
So instead of crying and like trying to bring challenges of Braille and how inaccessible it is because of the cost implications, now you can have a Chromebook and actually load your soft copy materials, and you're able to even like type out as the class continues, because it's very portable, and we have like Wi-Fi. So
and it is silent.
And it's silent.
Yes.
It's you've seen Braille.
I had classmates in the university who had Braille. Where?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a madhouse. You can imagine like 20 Braille machines all going on at once, like yeah. So Chromebooks, it's a game changer.
That's some good work that you're doing. So it's called Enable. The NGO.
Yeah.
Okay.
IN is small, then able is capital, and it's because we focus on the ability.
Okay.
Yeah.
This conference that you're hosting in Nairobi, that's bringing how many African countries?
20 African countries.
Okay.
And
what do you hope to achieve at the end of it?
At the end of it is to have commitments towards disability inclusion, and both digitally, but also the built environment and what we call the human side of it, which is communication, interaction, all these things that come with disability, like stigma, discrimination. So it's bringing the awareness and also showcasing innovations across Africa that are geared towards disability inclusion.
Okay.
Yeah, like assistive technology innovations, and they're being done by young folks. So we have a pocket of the conference called Assistive Technology Innovations Village. Normally they say it takes a village, right? So we're bringing all these innovators, experts in the space.
So they're like exhibiting there?
Yeah, we're exhibiting, yeah.
Oh, very good.
And even like beyond Africa, we have international companies that are exhibiting also to sort of like contrast what we have in the continent and beyond.
What's happening elsewhere.
Yeah.
Julius, we thank you very much for joining us today.
I really appreciate
for sharing this conversation with us. Julius Mbura.
Yeah.
Follow him on X. It's at J Supercharge.
Yeah.
He's been our guest. He's a digital inclusion ambassador, talking about digital inclusion for people with disabilities. 8 a.m. news time.
Good morning, this is Newswire. I'm Dennis Aseto. Learning officially resumes in school after being postponed for 2 weeks due to the effects of the floods. Now, in addition, some students are expected to report today due to the schedules given by the head teachers of the schools. Now, in Garsen Lamu Road, transport activities were disabled due to the floods after the Tana River broke its banks and forced students to use boats to be transported for 2 kilometers to their various schools. Now, speaking at the opening ceremony of Lenana Primary School in Ngando area here in Nairobi, President William Ruto called on parents to send their children back to school as the rains have since subsided. A similar statement was made by Education Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Machogo, who admitted that over 1 billion shillings have been allocated for the construction of more schools. Agriculture CS Smithika Linturi is not guilty of the fake fertilizer scandal that has rocked the country. Now, the report by the 11-member committee investigating the matter revealed that the 7 MPs voted against the impeachment of Linturi, while 4 voted for his removal from office. According to the committee, the claims raised against Linturi were baseless.
of the Constitution or any other law. Ground 2, on serious reasons for believing that the Cabinet Secretary has committed a crime under national law. And ground 3, on the gross misconduct as outlined in the special motion, are unsubstantiated.
The dismissal of the motion has raised sharp division in the National Assembly, with the opposition MPs accusing the committee of letting down Kenyans and especially the farmers.
Farmers of Kenya must know who between Kenya Kwanza and Azimio are truly their friends. Mr. Speaker, it is good that Parliament spoke and spoke in a bipartisan manner. What now must save farmers is the action by the President. The President can act and reflect the wishes of this House by the stroke of a pen. He does not need this House to resolve that issue.
What Honorable Linturi was talking about, instead of telling Kenyans how fake fertilizers found itself in the market, he talked about the famous episode, the soap opera of his love gone bad, Mr. Speaker, with the Honorable Keitany. Mr. Speaker, if we continue like this, then in the national holidays when people are given honors, Mr. Speaker, we should have corruption as one of the honors that is awarded, Mr. Speaker.
The opposition has also demanded that the committee be investigated, especially after 4 members complained that they had been threatened.
That if you look at those 7 members who have rejected this report, even on the floor of the House, about 5 or 6 of them made their contribution and they supported Linturi on the floor of the House. So Kimani Ichung'wah, while constituting this committee, clearly wanted Linturi to be let off the hook, as he told us when he was contributing to this motion. He failed to convince his members. He failed to whip his members on the floor of the House. He decided to use the select committee to sanitize Linturi.
I feel completely disappointed with the National Assembly of Kenya. I feel very exhausted, not because I wanted the result to be on the other way, but I thought we should have considered the many farmers that actually brought even the samples fertilizer into the parliamentary buildings.
The National Assembly Budget Committee has rejected the proposal of the Senate to allocate the county's 415 billion shillings in the 2024-2025 budget, saying the country does not have the financial capacity to provide more than 391 billion shillings to the counties. The committee chairperson, Ndindi Nyoro, says that if the MPs approve the proposal of the Senate, then they will have to reduce the NGCDF budget.
We are dealing with a closed envelope, and therefore, if Honorable Speaker, we were to consider a figure higher than the 391 billion Kenya shillings already set in the ceiling at the budget policy statement, Honorable Speaker, therefore, certain votes and certain expenditure lines have to give way.
It is a proposal that sparked a heated debate in the August House, with some members of Parliament supporting the Budget Committee.
We never see the value of money that is going to counties across the country, without exception, Honorable Speaker. I know there are some counties like Homa Bay where we can see good work being done. I know there are counties like Nakuru where we can see good work being done.
This is Newswire. Dennis Aseto. Good morning.
.5 SpiceFM, Kisumu.
Cometh the hour, cometh the traffic. Wherever you look, my friend, Nikubaya, Juja Road is busy all the way from the Outer Ring Junction, heading all the way into Ring Road, Ngara. Outer Ring Road, there's something happening in Outer Ring Road around Babadogo area. That's, that corner. So there's some slight traffic. This indicates that there could be something causing a snarl up, because it's not for long, but it's there. So if you know what that is, please let us know. And also, if you can, just avoid that road for a bit. And then Thika Superhighway, as you come into town, you know the drill. And you also know the drill with Kiambu Road. You also know the drill with Limuru Road. So there's been some construction work going on Limuru Road. And this is around Muthaiga area, going all the way into UN Avenue. It's busy. So every morning it looks the same. Westlands into town, it's busy as you get onto the expressway, and then you also have the issues with the Bunyala Road that's been there since yesterday. It's just completely chock-a-block this morning. Langata Road also is very, very, very busy, heading into Timor, out of Timor, into Makadara, out of Makadara, into Aerodrome Road. It's all busy. But just be patient. It's a peak time. In the next 30 minutes, hopefully, it'll subside.
This is the Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Oko, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latif, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is the situation.
Tell everybody what happens once they log on to ecitizen.kra.go.ke and they're looking for an eTIMS invoice.
Well, look at it this way, okay? If you want to understand how technology assists you in making your life easier,
yes,
and that's what you do.
Yes.
Okay? You'll simply log on *222#. Okay? Now, once you get there, you will be given information and you'll be given choices as to what it is you want to do. Okay? What you are then required to do is enter. Among the information you'll be required to enter the PIN number of the institution to which you are sending the invoice. And then what happens is that the name of that particular institution will pop up. So you know, Kweli Nihawa. It is actually them.
Yes.
Now, once you've done that,
yes,
in essence, you have completed your task.
Kabisa?
Yes.
Next thing is just now start filling out the details of the invoice.
Whatever details you have, yes, you've ascertained that the institution is the one. So now all the details that are required, you just filled it in.
Yep.
And that is it.
What are you billing them for? So you enter the details, the description of, okay, so it's I supplied them tomatoes and potatoes.
Easy biashara ndogo ndogo. And the reason why we refer to ndogo ndogo is because perhaps you fall in the category of those individuals who are not registered for VAT.
Yep.
Yes. So this is how you now join the ranks of those who are contributing to building the nation.
Kabisa, kabisa.
Yes.
This is it. KRA says it's as simple, and you know, when you say things are simple, and then you go into such a platform and you see how simple it is.
It is simple.
Okay, yeah, it's actually very simple.
It's actually simple and straightforward.
And you can even do it simply on USSD, *222#.
Yes.
It's as simple as that again. *222#. That gets you onto the eCitizen USSD platform. You select the one that has KRA, and then you go in, you see eTIMS invoice, you go there, and it's again simple.
It guides you.
Yeah,
it tells you. So you actually look for what it is you need, and you get it, and you click, and you keep moving.
Chap chap. Moja mbili tatu tukisonga.
Yes.
Okay. Today, Tuesday, the 14th day of May 2024, we are expecting two things later this evening. Thing number one, EPRA to tell us that fuel will get cheaper.
That's one.
That's number one. Thing number two, Tottenham to tell us that Man City can be beaten. That's thing number two. Mambo ni mawili. Jambo la tatu is that this weekend then, after Tottenham does the thing like that,
I'm waiting,
and Man City does the thing like that,
Arsenal.
Then come Sunday, Arsenal Everton. Pa 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 kum 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 kum.
20 years, 20 years waiting.
20 years waiting is happening this Sunday.
Okay.
500 shillings is all you need to watch this match wherever you will be across this country on Showmax. 500 bob to subscribe. Imagine. 500 shillings. You can catch the EPL action on Showmax. 500 shillings is what you need. Showmax.com. Showmax.com. Or you can download the Showmax apps on Play Store, App Store. You have it on your mobile devices. So wherever you are caught up in traffic somewhere and you want to watch tonight's game, you can watch. Or you want to watch tomorrow's game, Brighton versus Chelsea, or Man U versus Newcastle. You can watch it. Or Sunday, Liverpool versus Wolves. It doesn't matter really, but you can watch Liverpool versus Wolves on Sunday. It doesn't also matter if you watch Sheffield United versus Tottenham on Sunday. It doesn't matter, but you can also watch Arsenal versus Everton.
My goodness.
Hiyo ndio itakuwa.
Itakuwa sawa baba.
Yeah. Big one. For how much?
500 shillings.
500 bob.
Yes, no hidden charges.
Nothing.
500 shillings.
That's it. That's it. Robert Alai is a member of the County Assembly in the City County of Nairobi, representing Kileleshwa Ward. He's our guest for the next hour. Robert, good morning.
Asante sana. Thank you so much. Nasikia bana unaweza kuwatch kumbe niko nikiteseka bana Showmax.com 500 bob.
Yes.
I'll go and try to I think on your phone and on your tablet.
That's the point.
Wherever you are. I like that gadget, Robert.
The remarkable too. It's very handy.
It's a lovely one.
The iPad has a lot of distractions. This one is just a notebook.
This is a notebook.
Just a notebook.
Period. Simple.
Nothing. A notebook.
Okay. Good one. Karibu sana to the show.
Asante sana.
City will welcome you with the day's proverb. This week, the proverbs are from
the Republic of Malawi.
Okay. Robert, who's the president of Malawi?
I've lost track.
Don't worry. Just take a stab at it.
Buruburu for a time. He taught in Buruburu at the East African School of Theology. East.
Oh.
Yes.
Chi.
That's right. You're the right path.
The guy who wangs.
That guy.
You're getting closer.
I forgot his name.
Doctor. It's a biblical name.
Biblical name. La.
He's very religious.
He was a friend of Jesus.
I don't trust him like the previous, the immediate former Senegal president. He was very smooth, a very good orator, and baada ya kumaliza term yake, he was almost bringing in problems in handing over power.
Almost is the key word here. Almost. Okay. Lazarus
Chakwera.
It's the name you're looking for. You knew there was a ch somewhere.
That's the
Chakwera.
But even his VP has a ch. The VP is called Chilima. Yes. But his first name is Saulos. I was at pains to explain to my brother here, just because there's an S, it doesn't mean it's a plural. It's just one person. But his name is Saulos.
Okay. I still don't believe you. I need to see them to see. The proverb.
The proverb from the Republic of Malawi. The person-in-law of lightning is not afraid of thunder.
The person-in-law of lightning is not afraid of thunder.
Law ya sheria ama law ingine?
Ile law like in-law.
In-law.
Wale jamaa ambao wako related na
the in-laws.
How? Brother, sister, in-law, how?
The in-laws.
Parents, in-laws. Are your in-laws really your relatives?
Why do you? Baba always asks us. Baba asks us. There's a time I'll tell you this on radio.
Yes.
There's a time we used to tell Baba, unajua, that one is your brother's wife's nini, so it should not be appointed. And say, how is it my relative and you are married to them? Can you marry your relatives? I just remember that your in-laws are not your relatives.
That's a good one. So again, the proverb. The person-in-law
of lightning
is not afraid of thunder.
Yes.
Interpretation of that?
I think, we are going back to relatives. Are you related to thunder? If you're related to thunder, you can never be its family. So, basically, if you come umezoea shida, you can never...
Huwezi kuogopa
shida kama umezoea shida.
Huwezi kuogopa njaa.
That's why you cannot force somebody who has survived flooding in the riparian land to move. You can't tell them move to a safer ground. you see, it had to come to bulldozers, which is very depressing, but they can't. Hawezi kuogopa shida. They're living a day at a time. Yeah.
Haoni shida ni nini.
Also, you know, when you're campaigning, you walk in those slums, and sometimes you walk behind the houses. You see how kids have relieved themselves in very bad places. You see waterborne diseases, you see cholera, you see
defecation, you see all those things.
Anakwambia wewe unakomplainia hiyo kwamba watoto wangu wameenda choo vibaya, lakini mimi naona walishiba.
Perspectives, man.
You remember the slum upgrade project, yeah, Baba?
Yep.
Yeah, Kibra, moving people from the Mabati houses to the NHC, the UN Habitat partnerships. When people were moved there, they were paying 3.5 million shillings over a period of time. I think 15 or 20 years. They're paying 2,000 bob, you know, per month or so. But at the end, waliona kwamba I'm going to pay only 3.5. Wacha niuzia mtu 5 million hii nyumba, niende nipate kitu. The moment they got to that money, they didn't realize that 3.5 walifaa kupatia gava.
They were seeing 5 million.
Wanaona 5 million. 3.5 patia gava, uko na 1.5. Ukiongeza one wife, unarudi shida, unarudi to a bigger problem. You're going to start even lower. Umezoea shida. You know the problem of kuzoea shida.
But these demolitions, Robert, I mean, your ward also has some low-income neighborhoods.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And the floods have basically just exposed the dire living conditions of millions of people in the city of Nairobi.
Millions.
Because we just talk about housing. I mean, nani malala inje, nana malala inje leo.
Yes.
Now you can clearly see
the deplorable situation. I think one day we need even to go and just do some programs so people to realize that it is not as simple as people talk about, because some generations, like you find now, the existence of the slums. Juzi tulikuwa kwa Nairobi River Commission, which brought me a lot of problems, that event. But I also saw when the military did the whole plan from 1948, how the city was planned to be. Basically where there are slums, which is government land, and there were supposed to be green spaces, and people went and lived those places. And also those places which were left to be green were some of the lowest places.
There were swamps.
There were wetlands, they were next to dams, and people went and lived there. Some of the people have lived, if somebody lived since 1963, these people have great-grandchildren. You see? They have great-grandchildren who know no other home. Because in the shacks they go to, they don't even spend more than 1 week because of their income levels. So unaenda kama pale Waruku, I have a family who, when one of the flooding incidents happened, carried a family, 2-3 members, while they were sleeping with their beds, and went with them a body.
Their structure was basically just washed.
Yes,
away.
and the daughter, 12-year-old, has never been found. They were washed while sleeping.
Oh my goodness.
The mother and the son were rescued, but the daughter has never been found. You see? So when we went and told them to move, we realized these are 30 houses. These 30 houses, they are mabati, but mabati gorofa, mabati chini, mabati juu. Hapo the stairs, they put mbao. So they charge 3,000 per month for rent. This 30
houses. It's one room.
Yes, one room.
So 3,000 for the bungalow, or for the down is one, up is another.
Yeah, so it's just one room, 30 of them.
Okay.
And,
so chini 15,
and they're all 3,000.
3,000 each.
Right.
So 30 of them. So each is 3,000. It's one room, and some of them stays 5 family members, 7 family members. It's just chaotic. Yeah. So it's very inhuman. But when we went and told them that sasa tunataka mtoke hapa, we go. So a good number of them were being hosted by jiranis and relatives, because the flooding situation, the water was up to the waist level. So it was very dire. They saw the need to move. But when we told the member, please don't go and live here, because you're basically living on the riverbed. The river will come at night. At some point it will flood again. We didn't understand the situation. So when the owner of the plot came to us, we realized the very old mzee, around 80-something years, na kuna wife wake hapo, then akona sons, 5 of them. All depend on this 90,000.
And they all live in this Waroko place?
Yes, and none of them has gone past class 5 in this city.
So the slumlord is a resident?
Is a resident. Aliwachiwa shamba ye pia. You see? Yeye aliwachiwa shamba na ndugu yake. Na hii shamba, hiyo ndio home kwake.
But you know, if it's 3,000,
yes,
and they are no,
there are 7 of them.
I'm actually seeing the problem.
90,000 support 7 family members. These 7 family members, averagely, none of them has less than 5 in a household. Now, wote wanakaa hapo. Hao pia wanakaa kwa plot kama wengine. This thing doesn't help them. So it's basically to live by. Now, if they don't have this money, the men are going to go into drugs and alcohol and changa dens, which are just nearby. The next plot is just changa den. So these things are making them stay alive.
Yeah.
So imagine when the situation now the government tells them move to a higher ground, to where they have not known. Wengine ni wazee. Then you find a situation kama juzi, you know, hiyo ni flooding ile ya kwanza, ile ilikuja ile flash flood. So juzi we have gone, it is not raining during the day, ikaanza kunyesha. The moment it stopped to rain, there was an outbreak of fire. So one of them was trying to rescue, you know, people from the fire outbreak. Then akagongwa na pikipiki. Now akona spinal fracture mara 4. You see? Then the next day government inakuja na bulldozer inaambia kwamba ondolewe hapa, and you have just taken this person through an operation which has restored the spinal cord either through the help of Red Cross. Red Cross paid close to 1 million shillings for the guys to be nini at PCA Kikuyu. You see, unamrudisha pale aanze kuheal, analala chini kwanza. You see? Anaanza kuheal, unasikia kesho gavana anamwambia kwamba waondo. This guy is basically somebody who can't even turn. He has to be turned, avalisha diapers, you know. It's very inhuman. Ukiona hii situation, unasema kwamba some people are just living, you know.
And they have lived in this city.
Yes.
For decades.
For decades.
Generations.
Generations. You know, when I came to this city is when I realized that the poverty and the illiteracy in this city is a ticking time bomb. I was told, print card ndogo kama hizi business cards. You see, with your photo and the name. And don't change your appearance. Because they don't know how to read. So if you change your appearance, or you change your clothes, or you change your vibe,
if I go to the ballot paper and I see somebody different,
yes, they will not know, and they will vote for somebody else. The illiteracy in town, and the thing increasing in the literacy level so much ni boda. Because hizi mtoto anafika class 5 anaambiwa kwamba weke deposit ya 10,000 hapo, uanze kuendesha pikipiki, utuleteange pesa kidogo at least per day. They can make 500 bob, 1,000 bob. So people don't finish class 8.
How many people live in the slum in your ward? This is Kileleshwa ward.
In my ward, I think the slum in my ward are around 30,000, because in that place, in the ward where there's a slum, next to it is JKUAT. JKUAT is the biggest polling station I have, with around 8,000 voters. So 8,000 voters. Na hii slum, unajua ni 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer. You see? 1 kilometer by 1.
What's that slum called?
It's Waruku.
Waruku
in near Kangemi. You see? So that area, people live. So when there was a fire outbreak, it just affected the 32 households. It was so bad at night, where you say, oh, where have all these people come from? But we realized we have been living into a very densely populated
They've just all been in that 1 kilometer square.
Yes, and you could see next to Lavington Mall, you can see the number of people getting into, getting to town through that route. If you're next to Quickmart Wayaki Way, just go there in the morning or in the evening. Just see the traffic.
Watch the number of people walking.
Yes, walking to Westlands. People along Wayaki Way, Westlands, and alafu najua barabara tumejenga, we didn't pay attention to the human being.
Yeah.
So basically, people are surviving.
Actually, walking on the road itself.
Yes, walking on the road because there are no footpaths there.
It's good that we started this conversation this way, because for many of the people who watch and listen to us every day, people are blind to the suffering of people in urban areas.
Yeah.
People are blind to the suffering of people in Nairobi because now you think, okay, sasa ukiangalia Nairobi, I mean, it's a capital city, it's the biggest, it's the biggest economy in the country, it's big this and the other. And then when you hear Kibera, like, okay, Kibera, just a few, just Kibera, and then you just assume that this is where the slum is. And you don't even quantify it in numbers. But if you think about the population of 5 million people in Nairobi, and then you think that half of that, if not more, live in these conditions that we're talking about, then it's not just a ticking time bomb. This thing is counting down to 00.
Yeah.
It's right here.
Yeah.
But also, it is talking about the complete inequality that's there in our society.
It's so stark, like in Waruku.
Stark inequality.
Like in Kileleshwa, one side, Waruku is just very close to Manyani East. Manyani East, is where the Pope, the nuncio, is hosted. So the ambassador of the ubalozi wa Papa, iko hapo. It's a very wealthy, neighborhood here.
It's an affluent neighborhood, yes.
It's a very affluent. Then Mudangari. That area, you can have somebody having an Olympic-sized swimming pool. While in Waruku, they're chasing water in Gatina. You see, mtu kwake, he has too much. And living basically an acre.
Away from.
Yes.
Yeah, it's an acre of land.
An acre of land, somebody were alone. And most of them are 2-3 family members. They're not many. You see? But Uko, people are staying in one room. 1 room, 7 people. 1 room, 7 people. Even when it...
And paying 3,000
as
bob
you
a
put
month.
it, 30,000 people.
Yes.
In a square kilometer.
In a square kilometer. So densely... like just up in nyuma yenu, we have the Mukuru.
Yes, we do.
Mukuru slum. There's a word there, I think it's Mukuru kwa Ruben, I think. By Mheshimiwa Kimondo. It is basically 100 acres. 100 acres yote ni ya Kirima. It's basically Kirima land yote. The whole ward. And people get re-elected there just because they say we will not let people be removed from this land. The Orbit Chemicals case, it has run over mpaka Supreme Court. Many times, mpaka judges nowadays, you try to go to court because of Orbit Chemicals. When no. I think you're abusing the court process.
Yeah,
so this thing has been ruled that ni Chandaria. Chandaria land. You see? So, and basically you see that all. And now, Josie, the government went to hospital ward. And removed people along the river. 2 rivers there, I think they make a triangle. Remove people along the river. Basically, a ward has been wiped out. I think it's remaining like 1/3 of the ward. Because it was basically people
living along
the river and densely populated. So most of the people, if you move them, tell them move away, they're moving to other wards. Because a ward like Madare North is very small. Hospital ward is very small. Huruma, very small. The only thing is that 30,000 people per square kilometer. I think the natural, if you check on the KNBS statistics, Madare has up to 40, 50. It's so densely populated, and this is what worries me about the urban planning in this city, because it dehumanizes people when people live like this. You remember even the colonialist, the low-income houses in Uru Estate, Maringo, Mbotela.
There was space.
There was space.
Proper space.
There's a standard living space. Unasema kwamba a human being must live this way. That's when you are human. When you live in a worse situation than this, you become an animal. And that's why they don't see beyond a day. When violence breaks out, they can easily kill somebody because only a day beyond, living a day at a time. So I think that's what worries me about.
But something, Mheshimiwa, the alarming thing is some of these slums that we speak of, literally all affluent neighborhoods.
Yes.
Find a slum, find an affluent neighborhood.
All of them.
Now that is something that those who live in those areas, because many of the people who live in those areas are also decision makers, it's something you should consider.
So what's the solution? Let's discuss that after this break, right? Because we've been talking about this for long. We have commissions set up upon commission, Nairobi River Regeneration Commission. We've been urban planning. The Japanese came and helped us with an entire new plan for the city.
Master plan.
Yeah, master plan. It's called NUPEA. So we have what?
New plan,
but it ends up still with the same situation, not moving, like we're hearing. Some from just political, expediency. I do not want this word touched because these are votes.
Yeah.
However they leave is okay, but these are votes. These are what take me to the county assembly, which opens the doors for, come on, 28 minutes to 9. Robert Lai, member of the county assembly for Nairobi, representing Kileleshwa Ward, is our guest. MCA's role in reclaiming public property in the city of Nairobi.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Lights. Digger. Action. Do you have the passion, the interest to tell a story to the world in your own style? Well, we're ready to take you in and help you grow your talents in the media industry. The Standard Group, in partnership with Talanta Institute, is offering a media training and incubation program courtesy of Standard Talanta Academy, where we nurture and guide industry talents on an array of topics from writing, reporting, media law and ethics, investigative journalism and research to the Kenya Copyright Board, Kenya Film Commission and the Kenya Films and Classification Board legal frameworks. To apply to the Standard Talanta Academy for our upcoming May intake, visit www.talanta.com.
How's it looking like in Nairobi? It's sunny, 15 degrees, and Mombasa is also sunny at 27, Malindi sunny 28, Kisumu sunny at 23, Nakuru sunny at 17, Nyeri partly sunny at 17, Kakamega sunny at 22, Eldoret sunny at 16, Kampala sunny at 23, Mogadishu sunny at 30, Addis Ababa sunny at 20, Dar es Salaam sunny at 26, Kinshasa sunny at 24, Lagos mostly cloudy at 26, Johannesburg mostly cloudy at 12, France, Paris, heavy rain at 16. Also it was raining in the UK. London is still raining at 15 rain showers, partly cloudy skies in New York, and Beijing is a mostly sunny afternoon at 31. No letter upon Langata Road as you head in towards the city centre. Well, Langata Road into Timol Junction, very, very busy. Mbagathi Way out of Timol Junction, heading towards the City Mortuary roundabout is busy. As you approach the City Mortuary roundabout, it's busy all the way from Ngomo, heading towards the Mortuary roundabout. And then Ngong Road as well, coming into that roundabout, is also very busy and heading in towards town. And then at the All Saints Cathedral, coming out of town, busy. As you're getting into town at Serena, it's also very busy as you come into the Nyayo Stadium roundabout. What's happening on at the railway station, at Railway roundabout, is also very, very busy this morning. This is on Haile Selassie because the Uhuru Highway is busy. Jogoo Road has been very busy as usual, into City Stadium roundabout, out of City Stadium into Landis Road, very busy. And then Thika Road as usual, but it's actually now getting better. It was first at Allsops. Now it's moving closer to KCA University. And then Muthaiga Road was initially at DCI. Now it's moving closer to the Muthaiga Golf. And then Limuru Road has also been very busy this morning. Nothing really major to talk about that's causing excessive traffic. It's just the usual peak time traffic.
Spice up your life. Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Our conversation continues with Robert Lai, MCA Kileleshwa Ward in the city county of Nairobi. And we're talking about, the planning for the current population of Nairobi, but also just anticipating that the population of Nairobi is going to more than double in the next 10, 15, 20 years. So you said that you saw the chronology of planning for Nairobi. The plans that were there in the colonial days, at independence, the situation as it's looking like now. You've seen the repair plans and, the plan that has come now with the help of the Japanese government. Is there any reprieve that we can actually get to a Nairobi that's better planned for its residents?
I think Nairobi can get better, way better than it is now. But the only thing is that we have to involve the middle class into the conversation about the management of the cities, and it's not on Nairobi, because what devolution is creating. Devolution is creating an affluent middle class, and for the first time, you find people who are getting into the middle class without stepping into Nairobi. So we are creating other Nairobis elsewhere, 47 of them, if not more. And my worry is that the middle class is not interested in politics, and it's not their mistake. The Kenyan politics is too dirty for a formal engagement. It's not very comfortable. Sometimes you even tell people that, we want to, deal with this bill, or, we want to pass this budget. Can you contribute as part of the public participation? How you structure the public participation, they cannot participate. Because maybe it's in the slum, like Dagoretti North, we do it in the Muslim primary school every time. And now we try to change it when we change the law so that even you can submit your views through Zoom. The county executive does not provide that. So it never happens. When we say that you provide email, they say that the internet connection. So it seems like these plans, every plans, even a budget, is formed, is crafted with a mentality that it should pass the way it is. And they don't want to hear the views of the people. You don't want the input of the people who are supposed to be affected by the same. So I believe that the middle class, if we find a way of ensuring that the middle class is part of the political process, especially in the cities will be governed better. I told you a situation where we get elected, but our people are too intimidated to talk, because the political party is very powerful. Then, you see, one call from State House, all the UDA MCAs will align. One call from Chungwa House, nobody will have an independent thought there. You see, because you've been told this is the line. But you tell them what is the line of Wananchi, because this, the situation is so in the National Assembly yesterday. It is basically they said tumetingisha kidogo, tumemshtua kidogo. Sasa tumwache sasa, tusimtoe. So basically it was the majority side saving their person, because all the committees you'll form, the majority will have more members. Almost 3/4 of the members will be from the majority side. So you saw a situation where this person was being saved, but the people who are saving him, just like the people who passed the finance bill, passed it because they were told illegal. But this one, you're saving him while you know very well that you're representing, and mostly the central Kenya and the Rift Valley, where the majority side comes from mostly. They're representing people who are mostly farmers. So they cry the most about this. They are the most affected
by fake fertilizer.
By the fake fertilizer, because a good number of them are the ones who are doing the commercial, massive farming, which some of them bought 50 bags, 100 bags of fertilizers, wakapata ni mchanga yote, and now you're being told that save huyu mtu. You see, it's a very bad situation we find ourselves in.
So when you say the middle class should get more involved,
yes,
and that will solve many problems that we see, for example, in Nairobi, what do you mean?
I mean that
what kind of involvement would you like from middle class?
The election, who do you elect? First, let's start with the MC and the governor. Who do you elect? Does he have the patience and then the experience to analyze a budget?
We elect the middle class.
No,
you're not.
The MCA, you'll find 3, 4, 5 of us. We are 124. A good number of them, they are matatu conductors, matatu drivers, newspaper vendors, thugs. Thugs form a very huge bit, because the slums, which are so many in Nairobi, from Kibra, hakuna vile utachagua mtu Kibra who was not the gang leader there. So basically, if I go to Kibra today, if I go to vie in Kibra constituency as an MP, and I go to the slum area to campaign, if I start saying that I'll make roads, I'll affect some people's businesses there. People will decampaign. So when you're smart, you don't talk about some of these things.
Right.
So most of us go, because we don't use data, we go and campaign on this, we don't get elected. So the only person who gets elected is the person who comes from there.
Who understands that.
And the person who comes there is a person who protects them. Like today, if the president or the opposition leader wants to go into Kawangware, he will call one person called Franco. Franco basically control all the boys there. Now, Kiamua could shut down that slum, he will shut down the slum. And it's very easy for him to get elected.
Yeah.
You see, but can Franco, if you get him to the Nairobi City County Assembly, can he analyze the budget?
County finance?
Can he have the patience to analyze the annual development plan, the CIDP, as you come, the process is this when
was that his intention for getting elected?
No. Intention yake labda ilikuwa kutajirika, jenge kiosk mia moja.
So now,
yes,
you involve the middle class. How will that sort out?
They get first. The problem lacking there is the intellectual. You need to engage the governor, because the governor basically, we have given the governors a lot of powers. Yeah, well, we are not empowered the assembly. The assembly. We have not empowered them, because the assembly, hata nikifanya nini, at the end of the month, the governor has to sign for my salary. You see, the assembly budget is the governor who ana sign mpate pesa yenu. Hapo ndani mtapata, you don't have much, and it was designed that way because the MCAs are natural competitors to MPs. Yeah. So MPs didn't want a situation where the MCA was going to be at least have some influence. Yeah, so they disempowered them. But now you have left one person with too much powers. The person, you remember what Sonko used to do? All his opponents, kuna jamaa anaitwa Temendu, he went with the bulldozer, akatingisha nyumba yake kama analala na mke wake na watoto. You are sleeping with your family inside. Na because unampinga, unasikia nyumba yako usiku
haivunjiki.
Anakuambia anakuangusha na watoto.
He's telling you akona power.
Akona power. Usiku, in the middle of the night, and nothing can happen to him. He can decide today that alaya ananipinga, hakuna development kilelesho. There's no law which forces him to give every word. That's why we say, when I saw people commenting about the word development, we told them, it is not, we don't want more money. Ile tu pesa umempatia, and we don't want to control that money. Tell him every word, allocate this much. You see? So that it is not left to him to decide.
Mheshimiwa, this constitution gave counties the ability to have boroughs. Is that not so?
Yes.
Now, the whole idea of a borough was so that you have independent or semi-independent units. So the sort of funds that you're talking about and everything that goes on is managed at a micro level, so that one doesn't have to troop to City Hall to get these things done.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
That is part of the plan.
Yes.
Now, the governor in his campaigns mentioned such things.
Yeah.
I say mention because he did mention them.
Yes.
Now, the actualization of such a thing, do you think it would actually change the lives of the people in all the wards, all the areas that we have in Nairobi? If there was an element of semi-autonomy and they could actually manage their affairs in a certain way without necessarily trooping to City Hall?
I think it will change a lot. The devolution was crafted to even go lower to the village level.
Yes.
We even have the neighborhood and village act in the Nairobi county, which has never been activated, because some people feel it anyanganya MCS power, but the leadership
taking away power all the way to the people.
Yes,
you don't want to empower people.
Even hii mambo tunapiga kelele ya development approval, it should be done at the village level.
But Eric, it's a misnomer. This is where those who espouse these ideas get it wrong.
Yeah.
Empowering people doesn't remove power from you; it actually adds to your power.
Yes.
When you are given oversight or you are elected by people who have an understanding, it makes your life easier, not harder.
Yeah, it's
because if you're doing what it is that you're supposed to do, okay, your people who understand. When you tell them this is what needs to be done, they get it quickly. So you have a support base. The likelihood of being re-elected because you are working with them to build that environment which they live in is greater. But this thinking that we've had from the days of independence among some politicians, that you need your people ignorant, you need them poor, in fact perpetually impoverished, and that's how you gain control. That's how you ferment revolutions. I don't know why they don't get it.
For you to have power, CT, somebody else must not have power.
Actually, that's the point I am trying to make. You do not need people who are disempowered. It works against even your own interests. The very thing that you think you are doing to help yourself, you are actually going to achieve the complete opposite. That is the problem.
Yeah, you have to empower people. I've tried as much as possible to get the neighborhood associations and the middle class more engaged, but sometimes you find lost. Recently, Leona, I was almost killed at a site when the middle class, 40 of them were SMSing me, calling me all the time. There's a development which is going on here, So I felt like it's on a Sunday. Let me go there alone and see. And sometimes the middle class don't like you when you come there with goons. So I say,
let me just come alone.
Let me just come. Well, I arrived at that site almost 30 minutes. People had weapons. I was alone. And the people complaining are looking at you.
From the window.
From the windows.
They're filming from...
They're filming.
From
and you know that.
balcony.
And they're sharing. And so I said, what is this now? When they called me the second time, I just told them, but me, I cannot be dealing with this problem. When you call, you complain, now the person frames it. The moment they chase you from the site, and then they address the press, they say, huyu anataka tumbo yake. Because where are the people complaining? Hawako hapa, huyu jirani yangu, tunasalamiana vizuri, hajai niambia kwamba pendi hii kitu.
It is a lie.
A lie. So you are so portrayed, so a building is coming which is going to affect them. You tell them even this building, it might be within the zoning limits, but the problem is that it's built beacon to beacon. When you're going to expand this road, what is going to happen? They complain, and some of them are engineers, some are lawyers. You tell them, it's you to side yet a pro bono 22. Nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to do that.
Why do you think that?
Are they afraid? I think greed permeated part of our society in such a way that it's everybody for himself. And people always think that I'll always move elsewhere. Because people don't realize the chaos moves with you. Wherever you go,
it'll follow you.
So you have to resist it at some point. You say that mimi nataka kuishi hapa. I'm very fond. There are 3 PSS who stay in my ward, and we become very close friends with the former permanent secretaries, because they are in their 70s, 75, 78, and you go sit with them, and they're very sober people. They work during the Moi time, and they always tell us that Miss kind of shago, start a new life.
That's what they say.
Yeah, I can't go and start a new life there. Because
my life has been here.
Yes,
the people you know are here.
Yes, my friends are here. The people I know are here. I've worked in this. The things I need, and sometimes I need to go to a doctor regularly. Going to Shags, which means that I will be spending close to 40,000 every month just to come to my doctor. So I don't need that. Can you just let me live in my house? And I have my house, and this house, if I rent it, I will be paid 100,000, and this 100,000, if I get 50, I'll be remaining with a very small amount of money to survive in the Shags. And Shags, you'll have new friends there. The new friends might be in a worse economical situation, and they'll be depending on you.
Not will be, they usually are.
Yes. So
and they know you are a PS.
When they have decided to retire here, and they don't get the support, and they say that, but we have to live here. They are my biggest support base, because they are the people who, when you are campaigning against an issue, unashtukia tu amekutumia 5,000, ambia kwamba by the way you're doing, why are you sending me money? But I just like what you're doing. I just want to find ways of
helping you to mobilize. So when you say, and because you're speaking to that constituency now, right? When you say that you want us to be more involved, more engaged, break it down.
Tell us,
what exactly do you want me to do?
No,
I voted for you, Robert. I voted for you. I sent you to the county assembly so that you can represent me there, so that you can create laws there, so that you can oversight Sakaja there. So what more do you want from me, Robert?
I want you to participate. I want you to help. I want to work with you. When you have public participation, please be part of it. You see, when we are doing all these programs, we are doing youth, so when you have opportunity in the corporates where you work in, and we can partner to better the society. If you're working with a media organization and we can train 20, 30 people on how to make their viral TikTok videos or they make their YouTube videos and earn, they can earn better than a border and sitting, just buying bundles and, exploring their creative skills, being the next Flacos and Aziad and so on. Just tell them this is how you carry yourself in the media, and you just take a talk from somebody they admire from the media sector. That's how you get the middle class. If you are a middle class, you are a lawyer, and you say that one case from this ward I live in, just leave it to me, and I will do for you this pro bono, just to save our society.
Yeah,
it is almost impossible to get that from the people you live with. Usually, I shared a story where people blamed me, but also blamed. There's a lady who is in my ward and is a very huge corporate executive at Microsoft. I told them that you guys have, I have a tech background, and I know the center you have in Westland. Can I just use the center to, train 50, 40 people on full stack web development? They say, sisi tunadilingi na governor and above. We deal with governor and above. MCA. Sasa, I was lost because I've known this person since my Telecom Kenya days. So juicy, when alikuwa na mafuriko, the flooding, the whole house was filled up to almost the windows. Yeah? Then she came to me and said, now where's the governor? Can you call the governor? Because the governor was nowhere, was unreachable, the president was unreachable. I said, you see what I was telling you? Just get involved. Just let's do the small things. And it's not much by the, imagine, kwangu, wadi yangu niko na BMW, niko na Inchcape, niko na Toyota Kenya, niko na Safaricom, niko na Java. If I just
all that is in your word.
In fact, I did before becoming MCA in 2021. I did a survey. The profit they made, the listed companies with a presence in my ward, the profit they made is over 200 billion Kenya shillings. Imagine if they just took 0.5% of their profits
for CSR, but they put it in one of their banks and they say this one will lend to Mama Mboga. But since Mama Mboga, you know how the politics, you partner with politicians, you know how the politics work, is that in the villages, in the slums, they know each other. So if I want to get people from Kawangware, I use the mobilizers, and the mobilizers knows every mobilizer knows 500 people, 500 households, you see, and these mobilizers are very powerful. If you use this same structure to insulate them and to give them these benefits, I think you'll run a very smaller loss than this hustler fund they are doing, which is going direct to and is being lent to from government to the consumer directly. I think if you structure some of these engagements, if Inchcape, pale roundabout your Westlands, pale next to the mall, imagine if Inchcape just built for me a toilet. There's no toilet there.
Public toilet,
just a toilet too. You beg them there, lakini sio ni kazi ya county, lakini najua ni kazi ya county.
But they're not even the landlords.
They
are not even the landlords. I mean, how would they start building a toilet?
It's just part of the community. Corporate partnership.
All right, but who's the landlord? It's not
for their building.
Yes.
I'm not looking for their.
You want a public land.
I'm not looking for. No. I'm not.
You want a toilet.
There's land.
You want public toilet.
There's a land.
Okay.
I'm just looking for
You're
somebody.
saying that area can't lack public land.
Of course it cannot lack public land. But you cannot just start constructing something on public land. That's
I get you all the approvals.
That's where now I say. Have you done that?
I've gotten.
Have you done that? Have you?
Yes.
I think this is where now the linkages are lacking in terms of. So you need vision in the assembly, vision in the executive, and then just lobby and rally people.
Yeah.
If you lobby and rally people, there's even the Nairobi Central Business District Association. Remember earlier, nowadays they're called something different.
It's not SBD. Business community or something. I don't know. Yeah, it lag. I don't know the chairman now.
The time when they were doing a lot of work, and remember with the Kisia days, and they said, okay, let's even put up police patrol posts booths in the CBD. Let's look at how we can increase the public toilets, but working in collaboration with the county. It needs leadership from the other side.
It needs. I know we are lacking in some regards, but I think that, we start small. I've seen instances, Juzi, I approached some of the friends, and they went to Kenya High, which people always assume is a very affluent school with all the infrastructure, and they went and just built 17 toilets there. You don't know how much those guys appreciate that somebody came here and built for them toilets. When I told some people that I looked for the alumni of Kilesha Primary School, and I got some 2 architects. And they are now sitting on the PTA, and I told them that, can you just do for me one basic thing? Just get me a site plan, because this school, when you get somebody to do CSR, they come and they build, but people are just filling open spaces. There's no proper plan for this school. Can we just do it? And they agreed, and they handed over for me a site plan. Now there's a church, the SDA church wants to build a multipurpose hall there for the school. We just say, now we know where we can build the multipurpose hall, because the site plan helps. It is a very small thing in this, but you don't know. It's a lot. Imagine the affluence surrounding Upper Hill High School. I've gone to those domes, those classrooms, and the affluence surrounding it. If we just went and talked to the NCBS, the Britams, the KCBs, and we just say that, please, let's just partner with you. Let's just partner. The schools cannot be built by the government.
What it needs is leadership.
Yes.
You see? If you see what you've done with Kileleshwa, right? As the MCA for Kileleshwa Ward, working with a very vibrant, maybe active Kileleshwa rebel associations, working then with the professional associations there, then you can rally. There's a focal point where people now come and contribute. Without that, then, somebody who's sitting there, they're professional. Yes, I went to this primary school. I'd like to contribute, but just don't know where to start, where to end. I don't know. I don't want to get into this politics. Anataka kusimama. Wacha tupige vita.
But Eric, if you consider what Mheshimiwa has just said, how you reach the people who live in these low-rent areas, you look for a mobilizer, somebody who's recognized, somebody who people trust.
Same thing.
Thank you very much.
Same thing.
You have to find a way of communicating that is acceptable to that particular group. You can't take the way of communication from one group and transfer to no. Because I don't believe that somebody who lives in this country and sees the problems that is just sitting back and not wanting to be involved. Most times they don't know how to get involved, but in a way that they find acceptable and suitable.
And they find value, and also they trust the system. I've learned that even though the professor, sometimes you go and find people who are very affluent, then you realize that that group of people is controlled by 1 or 2 people. When you go and just share the vision with them, ataenda to convince the peers.
Every small community has an influencer.
They do.
Identify the influencer.
Identify them. Some of them are so hidden because they're in members only clubs. Ataenda kutafuta kama sisi utapata yako kwa club gani. Sasa sisi penye na hang out ni wapi?
Sukuja hapa. Every time you come you find me here.
Robert Alai, MCA Kileleshwa Ward, has been our guest this hour. We've been talking about Nairobi and what we need to, reclaim public land, reclaim public property, just regenerate Nairobi. 9 a.m., time for the news. Good morning.
Spice up your life.
Good morning, this is Newswire. I'm Dennis Aseto. Detectives in Gigiri, Nairobi are investigating the mysterious murder of an Indian businessman, Somesh Ramesh Chanda, who was found stabbed 3 times inside his vehicle Sunday morning along Gesha Road in Nyeri Estate. The late 54-year-old Ramesh was involved in landscaping business in Nairobi and is reported to have left his home in Spring Valley Saturday only for his lifeless body to be found inside his car in a ditch along Gesha Road. Police believe the businessman was found with 3 stab wounds, 1 on the chest and 2 on his thighs. Coup would have been killed elsewhere and his body taken to the site by unknown persons before being found in Nyeri. Security guards who were on patrol. Detectives who were investigating his last movement and communications to unravel the motive of the murder have already questioned some members of his family. Now, a suspect detained of possessing an endangered pangolin, a protected wildlife species, now faces a 5-year prison sentence or a 3 million shillings fine. Nicodemus Langat Kipgorola appeared before Cabernet Principal Magistrate Caroline Ataya and was charged under the Wildlife Conservation and Management Act of 2013. The prosecution had lined up for witnesses and, according to the DPP's office, proved the case against the accused through exhibits and testimonies. Now, 20 schools in Baringo North, which were closed indefinitely owing to banditry attacks, are yet to reopen as parents and pupils who fled the area are yet to return back to their homes 2 months after running to safety. At Ngarutuko Primary, the school officers and some part of administration block was razed down by bandits. The solar panels, books and other stationaries was not spared either, according to the school head teacher Charles Tarus. No single pupil had reported to school as parents are yet to return back to their homes after they had fled following the banditry attacks. The school is literally bush with no sign of reopening. At Kosili Primary School, no pupil reported. The center remains deserted with structures dilapidated. Security officers are patrolling the school and some few teachers had reported this was the situation in other schools that had faced the wrath of banditry. Now, a Nairobi court has dropped a matter in which businessman Parminder Singh Manko had been charged with stealing of 71 million shillings from his partners. The court withdrew the matter under Section 87A of the Criminal Procedure Act. The court further ordered that the cash bail he had deposited be released. When the matter came up for mention, the prosecution told the court that the charges against Manko are civil, adding that the prosecution does not intend to proceed with the matter. Parminder Singh Manko had been charged before Nairobi Senior Principal Magistrate Robinson Ondieki with 3 counts of stealing by a company's director, forgery and uttering a false document to a bank to claim that he was the sole signatory of the company. According to the defense, they had argued that no money was ever removed or misappropriated from the company Elite Earth Movers. And 12 people were killed and at least 60 injured after a billboard collapsed during a fierce storm in India's financial capital, Mumbai. The excavator was digging through the wreckage as rescuers raced to find survivors after the signage collapsed at a petrol station in the city's east, trapping dozens of people underneath. Now, 8 bodies had already been removed from the wreckage. Gao Chown, an inspector with the National Disaster Response Force, had responded to these. 4 more bodies are still buried inside the debris. Now, Israel battled Hamas in Gaza Monday, including a far southern Rafah, despite U.S. warnings against full-scale invasion of the crowded city and of threat of post-war anarchy across the Palestinian territory. Clashes also raged in northern and central Gaza as Israel marked a somber Memorial Day, which is followed by Independence Day from Monday night, more than 7 months into the war sparked by Hamas on October 7th attack. Now, Israelis marked a moment's silence and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vowed that the war of independence is not yet over. It continues to even today, adding that Israel is determined to win the struggle. Israel last week defied a chorus of warnings, including from top ally Washington, and sent tanks and troops into the east of Rafah, the city on the Egyptian border, where some 1.4 million Palestinians had sought shelter. This is Newswire. I'm Dennis Asseto. Good morning.
.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
All right, it's getting better and better now, okay? So Jogoo Road is still not so good, Jogoo Road, but, well, it's actually getting a bit better. Lusaka Road into City Stadium roundabout and Landis Road is still busy, but the Kiambu Road is now clear. Thika Superhighway is now clear. It just begins at survey. That issue at Outer Ring Road in Babadogo is still persistent. There's some slow traffic there as you come to cross Madara River. So there's an issue. I don't know what that is. It's been there for a while. There's also another issue around TRM, that's Thika Road Mall. over that overpass from Githurai coming towards Kasarani. Again, there's an issue. I don't know what that is, but just be patient. The other roads, they're moving. Langata Road has improved. Raila Odinga Way has improved. Kiambu Road has improved significantly. And Uhuru Highway is also improving.
This is the Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Oko, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latin, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
City talk about items, acitizen.kra.go.ke.
Yes.
Or star 222. Hush.
Electronic tax invoice management system.
Yes.
That's what it actually is.
Yes.
Okay? Sounds difficult. Easy.
But it's easy.
Yes. Star 222. Hash. Baba. You're in. Then you're given an array of choices. Look for KRA in that choice. Click. Thereafter, you're given more details. And one of the details they will require is the PIN of the entity that you're doing business with.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
All you do is enter the PIN.
Yes.
The name of the entity will pop up. Because you're going to ask me, what if it doesn't pop up? Then try again. It will eventually pop up.
Enter the correct PIN.
Yes, if it isn't correct, find out what the correct PIN is. Now, once you enter the correct PIN, the other details you'll be required to fill.
Yes.
It'll be explained to you. It is easy. Tell us this, tell us this, tell us this, tell us this. That's it. And then, again, post. Done. Your business is through.
Like that.
You do not need to do more.
When they say 1, 2, 3...
It is actually 1, 2, 3.
It is actually 1, 2, 3.
It is 1, 2, 3.
Very, very simple. eTIMS is the way to go. It's the law. You're required to generate an eTIMS. You're required to require an eTIMS invoice for anybody who is doing business with you. Also, tonight, Manchester City will be traveling to Tottenham. So Manchester City is going to London to play Tottenham Hotspur. And this will be the second last game for Manchester City in this season. With only 500 shillings, you can watch this game wherever you are. 500 bob, showmax.com. 500 bob, showmax.com. Those two things are what you need, right? Showmax.com, or you can download the Showmax app so that you can watch it on your mobile devices. This is how much money? 500 shillings.
500 bob.
Yes.
Yes.
The games that are... okay, so this one nice proper game that's being played tonight, which is City versus Spurs. It's a big one as we head towards the weekend, and the weekend is the final weekend of the English Premier League, and then we shall see, is it going to be Manchester City or is it going to be Arsenal? Who takes the trophy? Aki Mungu's idea. Aki, please.
Well, if you do not particularly favor football, or there are so many other things that you can entertain yourself with. Oh, so many.
Aki.
Documentaries, movies, series.
Aki.
You'll be spoilt for choices.
Mungu's idea. Aki. Remind us the day's proverb.
The person-in-law of lightning is not afraid of thunder.
The person-in-law of lightning is not afraid of
thunder.
Thunder. Lightning in the thunder. Lightning in the thunder. There's a story here that
In the nation?
In the nation. The headline, Orengo warns against NADCO report changes. You remember what NADCO is?
National.
So
you continue.
Dialogue. Committee. NADCO. Siaya Governor James Orengo has warned the Kenya Kwanza administration against tampering with the National Dialogue Committee NADCO report, terming it an attempt to erode the pillars of democracy in the country. Orengo's sentiments come just days after the opposition discovered secret amendments in the report that was tabled before the Senate. Among the amendments that the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition identified was the removal of a clause providing for the coalition political parties from the Political Parties Amendment Act 2022. Had it passed, then the Raila Odinga-led Azimio would be deemed illegal. I want to say that the attempt to tamper with the NADCO report did not only target to kill Azimio as a political party, but it was also an attempt to kill the multi-party system that we have in the country today. He said, I have said without fear of contradiction that the main pillars of our constitution include devolution, a democratic multi-party state, and good governance. If you check the attempts on the document, they are meant to kill devolution, multi-partyism, and good governance, replacing them with an authoritarian form of leadership akin to the KANU era. The way President William Ruto is running the country is far from the wishes of those who struggle to give us this constitutional order that respects human rights, rule of law, and devolution. Orengo cautioned Kenyans against being hoodwinked to support some of the legislations that the Kenya Kwanza administration is keen on introducing. If we are not careful as a country, we shall get back to the former form of government which we fought against for very many years. Minority leader Stuart Madzayo pointed out attempts to delete other sections relating to the formation, certification, and governance of political coalition parties. This included introduction of clauses allowing for registration of coalition party agreements before and after general elections, which would nullify the pre-election agreement. Hii mambo yote, it has brought back to the fore something called NADCO. NADCO, the National Dialogue Committee, was established to address issues that had brought political temperatures to a high in this country, right?
Yes.
So, elections happen, chasing of the wind, wild goose chase, and all those things are declared. Then a maandamano starts, cost of living, people with sufuria on their heads go onto the streets, they go back home. Then there is a call for dialogue by religious groups, by civil society, by other interest parties, basically just other people saying, we call for calm, we call for dialogue, and so an attempt is then made to have some dialogue. First dialogue committee is formed, which is just made up of parliamentarians, and these parliamentarians are led by, on one side is the George Murugara MP, on the other side is Otieno MP, and then those ones fight, they don't even meet, they disagree on very many issues. Then they said, okay, no,
let's find a middle ground.
We're going to form another committee. This committee, let's bring in Kalonzo, let's bring in Eugene Omalwa, let's now bring in, Kimani Ichung'wah, leader of majority in the National Assembly. Let's bring in Aaron Cheruiyot, leader of majority in the Senate. Let's bring in the other leaders. Let them meet. Let them go to Bomas. Let's facilitate. Let's spend money. Let's have Parliament approve this process. Let's see that Parliament shall receive this process. What are the issues? Issue number one, if this one does not pass, we are not going anywhere. Cost of living. The suffering of the people of Kenya must be addressed.
Conclusively.
That was the issue. And now about this, these other issues are big, okay, about electoral reforms. We shall also talk about IEBC. We shall, IEBC and electoral reforms. We shall review what happened in 2022. We shall audit the election of 2022 and see exactly what happened. What else do you want? No. Discussed issues here and there. They went, Bomas, they went to Machakos County, one Sunday they said, okay, here is a NADCO report. Eugene Omalwa did not sign. He was told, yes, okay. You see, sign.
He complained.
Yes, it sounds.
Said, what we wrote is not this one. There are changes here.
Changes, yeah, it's how it went to Parliament. It's stuck there. And we have forgotten.
In fact, so many other things have come into play that NADCO is in the backwaters.
Ah, yeah.
Pun intended here, of course.
We have completely forgotten. And that's why we want to bring up that conversation today. Lest we forget, this country had the national conversation that was taking place.
Yes.
At taxpayers' expense, people met, officials from government were summoned left, right, and center, come and give us presentations.
Documents were provided.
Documents were provided, and a report was made. This was going to address the issues that are facing this country now. The issue of cost of living, the government said, but we are dealing with the cost of living. Opposition said, you cannot deal with the cost of living. Okay, so there's a stalemate there. These others, they agreed. As we sit here today, City, we do not have an IEBC.
No, we don't.
We don't have an electoral body.
No, we don't.
This matter has even gone and found its way in court. And the courts have said, yes, the absence of an electoral commission is not just a ticking time bomb, it's a bomb in our hands, both legally and politically. Parliament, the law is clear on how you constitute an IEBC.
Yes.
Can you please just do it? Members of Parliament, including Raila Odinga and others, said, forget this judiciary. But we are dealing with this issue. We are dealing with it. IEBC, not being discussed now. Selection panel, I don't know whether they're being paid or not. They have been established. I don't know whether they were disbanded. I don't know what happened, but we don't have an IEBC. The issue about electoral justice and electoral reforms, that conversation...
my friend, it's gone beyond mumbling. One doesn't even hear it.
Yeah. Oh, we shall audit the 2022 election.
Chinyamaji.
What we are now hearing here from Murengo is they are doing amendments to change the Political Parties Act. Where are the matters the issues that matter to Wanjiku?
Do you actually hear any of it being mentioned?
Because there were people who were maimed in those mandamanos.
Yes.
And they were fighting for what they believed were things that affect the ordinary Mwananchi.
Yes. And when you look at the calamity that has befallen us in the not too distant past, the situation that we are speaking of have been exacerbated. They haven't lessened, they've increased. It becomes even more pertinent that these things be addressed now.
Yep.
Not a squeak.
Nothing.
Not a squeak.
This thing came, this thing moved, it appears that deals were struck, our conversation has shifted.
Completely.
It makes you wonder, were we being managed throughout that process?
It's a question you must ask. It's a question you genuinely must ask. Because everything else has come into play and everything else has taken center stage. It wouldn't make a difference, or at least it wouldn't be a big issue if the matters that were being discussed had been settled. We'd say, yeah, this has now been addressed, let's move on to other things. Because remember, for the longest time, what then took center stage in our discussion was the doctor's strike.
Yep.
Did the cost of living go down?
Nope. They say the cost of unga came down somewhat.
Cost of living is not unga. Unga just represents an aspect of the cost of living.
Yep.
Okay. Because when you have a situation where jobs are being lost, factories are being closed, people cannot earn a living, how then can they afford to actually live? So the discussion of the cost of it hasn't gone anywhere.
Nowhere.
The indigenous, those who required government assistance, those who were living just kidogo below the poverty line and just a little above it, the numbers have increased, not lessened.
Yeah.
So when you include them in the conversation, the truth of the matter is that the problems we're referring to then are more now than they were before. So that conversations ought to have taken center stage right now, because we need that conversation and we need to address these issues. If ever there was a time, it is now.
Remember during those mandamanos?
Yes.
I said, and I was saying, similar thing that I was saying during the BBI process.
Yes.
We need to have a national dialogue.
You said that.
Right.
And you repeated it, and you repeated it.
If we're going to have a dialogue, let's have a proper, well-structured national
Let's
dialogue.
constitute this thing so that we know what a national dialogue did for us some years ago. We saw.
So we talk about the issues that really matter to the people of Kenya, not the issues that matter to the people who are in leadership.
No.
They went and talked about, we can create a position of opposition leader. So we can create a position of, who else did they create a position of in those NADCO things of theirs?
Just the numbers of those positions were increased.
We shall
so that they represent
CDF,
regional this and the other, they represent God knows what else.
Yeah.
Yes, it speaks for stability, but does it speak for bettering the lives of those who need the assistance, those who need help the most? Does it make life affordable in the country? A simple enough question, really. So, are we saying that we are going to preach the gospel of stability and forget completely that the people for whom you seem to think you want this stability are going hungry every single day and do not know where they're going to get their next meal from? And again, the positions you hold and the decisions you make, in case you've forgotten, they're actually meant to better the lives of these people. That's the whole point of having elected. That's the whole point of having elected leaders. That's the whole point of having a political system.
Siti, we must one day wake up to the reality that we are held captive and hostage by a cabal of political players.
Yes.
In this country. It's a small cabal, but it's the same cabal of political players. They shape the conversation,
yes,
the national discourse. They shape national actions. They shape the agenda. And it is always aimed at their own selfish game.
It is.
Always.
It is.
If you look back at this whole journey, for example, let's look at this Mandamano, okay? The Mandamano, the way it was structured and the way it was organized. It was structured and organized to bring several issues to the fore. And then it was added the thing on the top there, like icing on the cake. Cost of living. It's the suffering of Wanjiku. And then if you look on the other side, what the Kenya Kwanza administration was doing, starting with a memo that was sent by the president to the speakers of the National Assembly and the Senate, saying, this is what I think this country should look like. I think for the sake of stability of this country, we need to have a vibrant parliament, and also we need to have a vibrant opposition. So I propose that we create an office of the leader of opposition. I propose that. I propose that if you think about that memo and what it was saying, it was addressing a political issue that was there. And the political issue was not the Wanjiku political issue.
No.
It was William Ruto addressing the Raila Odinga and the Uhuru Kenyatta and the Kalonzo Musyoka political issue.
Yes.
And the Musalia Mudavadi. The political issue of those at the top. Then because you guys look like, okay, now to make you come out, to make you come along this journey with us, let's talk about the cost of living, which we are going to agree and disagree as we buy time for the rains to come, and then we'll harvest, and then you see the rains came. And then you see the international oil prices have dropped. You see as we're managing you. But the whole journey is, where is the deal? What's in it for this cabal of the people? The rest of us, by the way, are just pawns on a chessboard.
If you look at the journey that you're speaking of, it wasn't always so. Because at independence, we actually had leaders who wanted to prove a point. The point was they can actually run the country. They did not need the colonialists to run things for them. If you look at the decisions that were made, and we know they were made because they were later corrupted, so we know they had actually been made. The moment politicians got into power and then lost track of what it is that they were supposed to actually be doing, they set us on this path. And every successive government, bar maybe one, what they have done, even as they give the impression that they are seeking to better the lives of the citizenry, they have exponentially made sure that the people closest to them have become, let me use the term, it's not abnormal. They have become rudely, obnoxiously wealthy.
Yep.
On the backs of the very, very people whose lives they're supposed to not only protect, but to make better.
Yep.
And that is why the problems that we said were our main enemies at independence still remain our problems.
They're still
now.
our issue.
60 years down the line, they're still the same. They are our issues.
They are still our issue today.
And they are more than they were even at independence.
Look at the story that you are reading, the headline in the Star today.
Yes.
Okay? How much money is being earmarked to support, our former leaders?
Yes, whether they're in the military, whether in the government, whether 199 billion is what we're expecting it to get to by next year.
Every year, 199 billion shillings from July this year to June next year. We are going to spend it on just, taking care of these guys.
Yes.
Okay? Former president, one former prime minister. How many former vice presidents do we have? We have Kalonzo, we have Mudiawori, we have who else? Musalia Mudavadi is a former vice. Is he earning as a former vice president?
I don't know.
When he's a state officer at present.
I lost touch with it. I mean, what about MPs who've retired?
And then former MPs, people who have retired, 199 billion.
Then go to the civil service.
And
go
if you
into
look
the
at
military.
how much we are spending and what for we are spending, right? For example, we are spending at house rent.
Yes.
You're paying rent for Uhuru, for Raila, for Kalonzo, for these other guys. We're spending over 2 million shillings a month on fuel for their vehicles.
Yes, by the way, and they do get a stipend.
And of course, there's
like 1.8 million. Something small like that.
Chai,
yes,
right?
Namandas.
Yeah. And you have all these things and then you're also paying somebody who served as a member of parliament for 2 terms and then they were voted out. They were not re-elected by their people. We'll give them a lifetime pension.
Yes, we do.
And you heard what Robert Alai was telling us about 30,000 people who are crammed in Mabati
1 kilometer square.
In a place in Waroko.
Yes.
That this is a man and his children who have lived here. They have built houses. They have brought people in. Those people are their tenants.
3 generations.
3 generations.
Yes.
Muzee, who is old, 80. It rains, everything goes. You have seen the demolitions that are happening in the other parts of... Those are people who are just struggling to figure out what they're going to eat the next day.
Yes.
These leaders claim that even when they were in office and now we are sustaining them because when they were in office they were there to improve the lot for these ones.
How? This person who owns that land, and probably that land doesn't have what we may refer to as proper documentation. In all these years, why has that land not been properly documented so that he actually owns it? And he's not alone. There are very many other citizens. They're not lesser citizens. No. Our constitution is clear. They have the same rights as all these leaders.
All of us.
And these people are the ones who actually participate in electing the very people who now make decisions that don't seem to favor the very same people.
Yep. If you look at the levels of poverty in this country, and then you see what that means, and then you look at our budget, and somebody sits down and tells you our budget for the next year is going to be 3.9 trillion shillings.
How many zeros are those? 12.
Who knows how many zeros are in a trillion?
Me, I stopped at
See, a billion was 9.
A billion is 9, I was told.
A billion is 9 zeros. So we had another 3 now, 12 zeros. That is 3.9 trillion.
That's a lot of money.
12 zeros.
That's a lot of money.
Remove 1 zero, put a 9. So 3, 9, 11 zeros. That's our budget.
Yes.
That's how much we're going to spend in the next year.
Yes.
How much of that money is going to improve the livelihoods of the 3 million or so people who live in mud mabati houses in Nairobi alone?
Yes. It's our biggest city. And
Nairobi alone.
Yes.
Without even going to other cities and towns.
Don't
even go to Shags.
Here.
Just Nairobi alone. How much of that is actually going to improve the life of those people?
Remember the discussion we had?
And yet, how much of that is going to make our president live comfortably, our deputy president eat salmon, our speakers live okay. Our members of parliament live okay. Our former president live okay. Our former prime minister, former vice presidents, live okay.
It's a focus.
How much are you paying rent for Kalonzo again?
For Brother Stephen, 10 million.
10 million shillings a year for Kalonzo's rent. Kalonzo has lived in his house for many years. So he's basically renting that house to us.
Yes.
So that he can live in it.
That is one way of looking at it, definitely.
Or is it rent for his office?
Whatever it is, it's rent.
Are we saying that we actually have an official office of the former vice president? Or what are we saying?
Or can his house also act as a...
And this office, so what does it do? So as a former vice president that has an office somewhere, let's say it's office, let's say it's not home, let's say it's office, okay? The office of the former vice president that we're paying 10 million shillings in the next 1 year for.
Yes.
Where is it? What does it do?
How does it help?
How does it help this mzee of Waruku?
How does it help the ordinary citizens of Kenya?
Yeah.
We've paid this amount of money from our coffers, money that is much needed. You know, I would have expected when we were talking about this, when I was looking at the article, I was thinking, we have a situation where we're being told these guys are going to take less of this money because of the problems we have. Yeah. No, they're actually it's
actually being increased in the next financial year.
That is the whole point.
Because inflation.
Now you tell me, if someone gave you this example and asked you, do you think the leadership of this country is in touch with the problems that the citizens have?
Absolutely not. Which is the point we made, that we have to wake up one day as Kenyans and realize that we are held captive and in bondage.
Eric, there's something there's something you keep saying here. You said it over, and not this year. You've said it for years now. Until the citizenry understand that they have to hold their leaders to account, and the leader understands who their bosses are, the lives of what we call the ordinary citizen will never change. If anything, it will get worse. The opportunities will get less. Your ability to live a decent life will plummet. And you will be a miserable citizen of a country that everybody looks at and considers to be very prosperous. Yes. And it cannot be said that you've done nothing to make it prosperous. You have done a lot to make it prosperous.
You're actually the oil that runs,
yes.
Lubricates this engine.
Yes, exactly. And without you, these leaders wouldn't have the positions they have.
Yeah. Let's take a break. We want to hear from you as well. 27 minutes to 10. So all we're asking ourselves this morning is, do our leaders actually feel and represent us? Are they our leaders? Or are we just pawns on a chess game? Back shortly.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
This season, we're celebrating the heartbeat of every family. Moms. Treat mom to an unforgettable shopping experience at Sarit, her ultimate shopping destination. Discover a wide array of gifts across various categories that cater to every mom's taste. Earn and redeem points with our Sarit loyalty app. Enjoy prepaid parking and snag gift vouchers. Plus, don't miss out on picking up your Mother's Day coloring card at customer care this month. Share your creations and tag us on @SaritYourCity. Visit www.sarityourcity.com for more details. Join us for Sarit's exclusive Mother's Month celebration. Don't miss out. Experience the vibrant pulse of Africa at Festac Africa Festival 2024 in Kisumu. Join us for a week-long celebration of culture, music, fashion, and more from May 20th to 26th. Dive into sustainable growth with food, arts, education, and youth empowerment. Don't miss Africa's premier Pan-African and global cultural exchange program. Get your tickets now. 1 day for 500 Kenya shillings or the full week for 2,000 Kenya shillings. Kisumu County welcomes the world to be part of Africa's forward movement. Act fast and secure your spot in this unforgettable journey. To register, just go to www.festacafrica.org.
The weather with Spice FM.
It's warming up in Nairobi. It's now 19 degrees. Partly sunny day. Expect a high of 24. Mombasa is sunny. Expect a high of 32. Expect a high of 31 in Malindi. Mostly sunny day. It's basically sunny day across the country. So let me just tell you the highs, all right? Highs of 26 later today in Eldoret. Highs of 29 in Kakamega. Highs of 25 in Nyeri. Highs of 27 in Nakuru. Highs of 30 in Kisumu. Let's talk about Dar es Salaam in Tanzania. Mostly sunny day. Highs of 33. Highs of 26 in Addis Ababa. Highs of 32 in Mogadishu. Highs of 33 in Lagos. Highs of 22 in Johannesburg. Highs of 29 in Kampala. Kinshasa. Highs of 33. Paris has been raining. It's still raining at 15 degrees. It's still raining in London as well at 14 degrees. It's clear skies in New York at 14 degrees. And also very hot and sunny day in Beijing at 31.
Some very nice, mature music.
It really took me back to my days, and I can just feel young again and enjoy the vibes.
Spice.
I'm a big listener of Spice FM.
You play the best music.
This is 94.4 Spice FM.
So now the traffic is just concentrated around the CBD as you get into town. So you know those roads around town, roads within the CBD, that's where the traffic is busy. The major roads and arteries that lead people into the city and out of the city are getting clearer and clearer because what? People have got into the offices. But there was an issue on Outer Ring Road around Babadogo that has also cleared, which is a good thing to look at. Kangunda Road is now busy at the Umoja Junction. Maybe it's because of matatus that's heading out of town. That probably should be the reason. Otherwise, anything that you'd like us to announce to everybody else, tag us on X, SpiceFM KE.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
So we're talking about our leaders and whether our leaders are actually alive to the predicament that Kenyans suffer on a daily basis. Many things.
You know, there are citizens who live here and there are citizens who live abroad.
Yes.
Our foreign service officers, many of them have not received the allowances they're supposed to receive every month for the last 5 months. Some of them are even facing eviction notices. So you ask yourself, this is somebody who is representing us. They are the face of this particular country, in whichever country they are. Now,
so they've been posted to Kenya's missions abroad.
And they're working there.
And they have not received
certain allowances. So even things like rent, they're having difficulties paying. Yes. Now, why is it that we have such things happening and then against this backdrop we're still being told of money is being added to people who already have a lot of money to begin with anyway?
People who are multi-millionaires.
They already, yes.
They are billionaires, actually.
Yes, a billion is a good word, Kenyan shillings. And this seems to be the discussion that is taking center stage.
And it's because we need to support them, because they served this country.
Yes, exactly.
In principle, that's okay. In principle, actually, yes, a former president has served this country for 10 years. Okay. Right, so there are some things that we need to do. So this former president, for example, should have round-the-clock security. Okay,
we get it.
He has an office of the former president because he also actually is still serving the country, being some missions here and there.
We get that.
Like now, he's going to observe the elections in where is it? Is it South Africa?
No,
it's an election.
I'm not sure. Yes, I think so.
Right. Former prime minister has served this country, same kind of thing.
We understand.
Yeah, okay. But how much? It's a quantum that now brings an issue.
And when we have problems such as the one we have,
and then you look at everything else that's competing for that shilling, and you say, no, let us pay rent for 10 million shillings.
Does that ring like it's something that anyone who's in touch with the reality of this country would actually do?
Let's actually put a travel allowance. For how much is the travel allowance?
My friend, don't joke with the travel allowance. Local travel. Former VP has 6.5 million.
6.5 million for former vice president.
Yes, former prime minister has 4.8 million. Domestic
travel.
Yes, former president has 56 million.
Local travel.
Yes.
Domestic means what? Nairobi to Mombasa.
Domestic is even if I live here and I go to General Motors.
And this is not. This is. Wait. What? So what does it cover? Because there's fuel. So this.
Fuel is different. Fuel is allocation 30 million.
Oh, this is Ndege and hotel.
Yeah, no, Ndege, foreign trips. You are talking.
See, local Ndege from here. Nairobi,
yes. All those Ndege, 56 million. Right. There are many things involved because you don't travel alone. Okay. There are other people who travel with you, blah blah blah, etc.
But it's not the same convoy that you had as president.
Who says? So you decide. The money is yours.
Yeah.
You can decide.
There's a law that says how many staff we are actually hiring for you.
No, meaning the ones you pay.
No, the ones we as taxpayers pay.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
It means
that.
That's
so the travel should also cater for only those. And now if you have extra people you want to bring, Jelipia Bwana.
No, I'll pay these people half the amount. That
and then you add people.
You have more. And foreign travel is 120 million for the former president. So all I'm saying is, this issue of raising perks or raising pensions and so forth, if you look at and you give an example, say for instance, of people who have pension schemes, and you go to pension fund managers who know exactly how to ensure that this money is always, they give you a good return for your investment.
Yeah.
Those pensions increase the time because when they make good money, so do you. Okay?
Yeah.
But here, this is not a pension scheme. It is a citizen of the country paying taxes so that you can be paid.
You.
Yes. Now, for this to equal that, it would mean the country needs to be vibrant. There needs to be more people paying taxes so that this budgeting that we do, where we only collect 2 trillion, we want to spend 3.9 trillion, it should be we are spending 3.9 trillion, but we've actually collected 4.5 trillion.
Yeah.
Okay. So we even talk of a sovereign fund.
Yeah.
So when you're paying people these monies, no one's going to kick too much of a fuss. But here we have no sovereign fund.
We are borrowing to actually pay some local travel of how many millions again?
441 million.
Let's hear from Mohammed in Mokijembe. Good morning, Mohammed.
Good morning, Wangwana. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam, Mohammed. Namna gani?
Mimi nashukuru, mazungumzo mazuri, mazito. Kuna mwelekeo very good.
Asante.
Sasa mimi nitawauliza swali. Ule mbuzi ukimpigia gita anacheza kweli?
Ngumu baba.
Haya, pili. Wale viura pale ziwani wakia kelele, yule ng'ombe atashindwa kunywa maji kweli?
Hatashindwa kamwe.
Hasa kwa hivyo sisi tuna shida ya mbuzi na ng'ombe. Kabla hivyo, when they come and look, they come to look for our vote. They are very human beings. The moment wakishaingia kwenye hizo vyeo, across board,
same.
Wengine wanageuka kuwa mbuzi, wengine wanageuka kuwa ng'ombe. Sasa itabidi tuishi nao hivyo hivyo. Kuna swali mzee Latif?
Sina.
Basi maoni yangu ni hayo.
Asante Mohammed.
Thank you, Mohammed. Comments on social media. Tom Omungo says it'll continue like that until the gods will say enough is enough. That's when the critical mass will reach. Chris Mora has been talking a while. Let me look for the top of Chris Mora's conversation where many things Chris has said. Yeah.
Shuka chini kidogo Dambata.
Shuka chini hapa kidogo hapa. The political class are corrupt and greedy. They don't care about other Kenyans used as voting machines via tribal lines. Kenyan voters must wake up and stop viewing the political class as demigods. Kabisa. Aluoch says many things. Among them is that Mother Nature exposed the underbelly of Nairobi to the forefront, yet our leadership live lavishly at taxpayers' expense. Kenya borrows from the IMF and the World Bank and now is at the mercy of the USA. Sheesh. Cry, my river. Leo says, only the citizenry can save themselves, but unfortunately they are too beholden to politicians to save them from the politicians' bad governance. Only the president should be catered for. Others, wajipange. Wahavundia says, if the terms of this politician was more down to earth, wouldn't have politicians who are just in it for the money, because that's what they are there for. We have a big problem. If you listen to the conversation that was in Parliament yesterday on the issue of the proposed amendment to the division of revenue bill. So, with a budget of 3.9 trillion shillings, counties, devolution is getting 390 billion shillings.
Is that amount the same amount that they've been receiving?
Just around there. You know, they were getting the other ones, 376,
but
390. 400 is the maximum ceiling. It's the ceiling, you cannot cross 400. But we're increasing the budget at the national level. And when we talk about, okay, how about then increasing more money? Oh, no, you see, if you send money to the counties, what are we seeing? They're just employing people. They're just becoming an employment bureau. You know
that conversation is so misguided. It's actually amazing. And what about the noise that was being made about, if we give them more money, it's our money that will be taken?
Our money for CDF.
Goodness gracious me. What on earth are those people talking about?
It's our CDF money, and we as the CDF, we are the ones who are building schools in this country, roads, the ones who are doing bursaries.
What on earth are these people talking about?
Now it will come from money for your money for roads. Now it will come from your money for roads.
It's actually a very false conversation, that one. Very, very. Ask yourself, what exactly does the Constitution say regarding the amount of money that the counties should receive? Have we ever even met that threshold?
We always keep arguing it should not be less than 15% of the last audited accounts. Now, the problem we have is that bit of the last audited account. The last audited account was when our budget was 2 trillion shillings.
Yes. So,
but our current budget is 3.9 trillion shillings.
Exactly.
Last audited 15%. Let's hear from other callers as well. Okay. Martin is on the line. Martin, good morning.
Good morning. It's Marvin, actually.
It's Marvin.
Yes, Marvin.
Hello,
Siti.
Salama baba, uko mzima?
Niko mzima.
Asante sana.
Yeah, this is Marvin, your friend. So, pertaining today's topic, I can say once you are a politician, there's these issues to do with character.
Yep.
I don't know if you say character and a politician, those two words don't go concurrently.
Well, you can use them when you want to actually display and demonstrate something that is completely opposed to the other. It's very. Then you use them, yes.
Yeah, true. So there's this movie. Actually, today when I was following the Robert Alai conversation, you see the disparity where now there are these people having it, and then now we have the haves and the have-nots. And then there's this movie I've watched. It's called In Time. Yeah. Just briefly, the movie it's on when people one day people woke up and everything changed. So they were using their life was based on time. So if you have 3 hours, when your hours is over, you die. Yeah. So looking at our setup today, we have those who have a lot, and we have this on the other side. People don't even have. Yeah. But now the solutions are with us. It's us to come and see why are they lacking, for those who have, and how can we assist? Because if we rely on our leaders and maybe the structures, it may take a long time. So the decision is to do.
What if we change the structure?
The structure. Okay, when we are talking of structure, Kenya we have the best structures, but now the issue is the people who are implementing the structures are more on picking than implementing.
Those people, Martin, those people are a structure, Marvin. They're a structure unto themselves. Maybe you change that structure of those people. I call them a cabal. It's the same people.
Very true. Yes.
But Marvin, thank you very much for your call.
Thank you so much.
Asante. Let's hear from Kuria in Nyeri. Good morning, Kuria.
Good morning, Eric. How are you?
Very well.
Say hi to Mwalimu.
Mwalimu amesalimika. Hujambo kaka?
Niko salama. Now on where you stopped, Eric, on the structure. My friend, even if you clear the forest and leave the baboons as they are, what structures have you put in place?
Remove the baboons.
If you remove the trees from the forest, then the baboons remain as they are. Have you laid in a structure, or have you come up with an effective structure?
It depends. If you're looking at the forest as the only structure, then you'll deal with the trees.
Yesterday I was reading
if
an
you look at
article,
the forest as one structure and the baboons as another structure,
yes,
then you'll go with the actual problem.
And the reality is, if you remove that forest, the baboons are going to come to your house.
Yesterday, DPA in my village,
yeah,
I was reading a certain online article, and I saw somewhere written that a chameleon that wants to survive a burning bush must abandon the majestic walk of its ancestors.
It's not running.
Meaning, we must shift from the normal rhetoric.
Yeah.
And that starts from Eric, Ndu, Mwalim, and Kuriami, DPA in the village in Kenya.
Yep.
Some time back, I saw some people. I saw my constituents lining up for bursaries, and you find each person is getting 2,000, 5,000 as a bursary.
Yep.
I asked one of the officials from the CDF, and I asked them, "Hold on. So today you've made a day where you're going to distribute 1 million shillings for bursaries. What if you had empowered a farmer or an onion farmer deep in the village? You do what we call dependence or independence.
Yep.
Other than the bursary, because you've given me 2,000, chances are in August I'll come back for another 2,000. But had you
and
empowered
the school fees
me,
is 15,000.
Thank you. Had you empowered me in my agriculture, chances are I'll not come for the 2,000 in August. I'll be crying for more fertilizer and add input in the agriculture, such by I'll never line up for the 2,000.
Yeah.
We must also, as we residents, shift from independence and dependence. Remember, bursary and agriculture, dependence and independence. So we must also shift our focus from that. Now there comes an earlier caller who has called about character. I've come to realize most of our leaders, they want us to rely on depending on them. They do not want us to be independent. Why? Chances are, come 2027, Korea will start asking them, come here, my friend, 60 years after independence, I don't have a tarmac in my road, I'm already to carry my agriculture food. Are you expecting, don't you think there will be a revolt on that Eric who is standing for that seat, either an MCA, a county seat, or even a constituency seat?
Yep.
That is the conversation that we need to instill in our persons. Lastly, Eric, kindly bring on board Ndidi Nyoro. And we discuss about his CDF on how he allocates his CDF from full contracts to something called labor-based power. We need to have such a conversation. You bring him there on board. We ask him very many questions. You see monkey do. Maybe in Kenya you might end up aping what this guy is doing, where he is building cabros in his place. Let me not explain my area, but anyway, we are flood free right now. The sun is there, and we are okay.
Have a good day in Kenya, Korea.
You too.
Thank you, Patrick in Roysambu.
Hi, Eric.
Hello.
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 We hear you.
Hi.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, City.
Hi. How are you doing today?
I'm well. No, I was following your earlier conversations with Robert Talai. Then you wonder, this country, I know for sure we don't have shortage of leaders. And we have people who think well of the citizenry. But then you wonder, what is people? You find people who can be able to think about, the citizenry. People who can think about this nation. It's very rarely we find people those people, and you see them, they cannot be able to give tokens when it comes to voting. You hear them, they are really talking quite well, and because they don't have money to dish out, they'll never be voted in. Then you find people we are voting people who think about their stomachs. They don't think about this nation at all. And then you wonder, Me, I'm really disappointed with some of the leaders that they used to comment so bad about the previous government. When they come, they have become even worse than them who are there.
Because, Patrick, it's because
yeah.
same guys. Okay?
I have heard a former caller talking about some of those people.
Yeah.
And you find they used to talk so much, you think that as they come, they are going to improve the lives of the citizens. Then you find that whatever they are doing, it is really, it is eating up. They are thinking of themselves.
Patrick, you sound like you're in pain. This thing is really bothering you, isn't it?
For sure. Listen to what Alai was saying.
Yes.
You find somebody is living, you know how it is in human, you're living with your wife, your children, your grandchildren in the same room. And then you find people, what you have said, you want to pay a former president who owns almost everything, you want to pay him 15 million. Instead of thinking how you're going to empower this human who is living in a dehumanized way, you wonder how do we think as people of this nation?
Yeah, true.
It is really, really painful.
Patrick, we hear you. But thank you for your call. Let's hear from others.
I hope you people continue what you are talking about, so that next come generation, people will have seen that do not vote people because of how they talk, but they'll have actually watched people and think how many people think about their lives. So that it's not a matter of how much you have, but it's about the and of course I also try to think we should make these positions to be less lucrative, so that people don't go there to get money.
Patrick, thank you.
Yeah, they go there to serve the nation.
Thank you. Let's hear from Isaiah. Isaiah is an MC in Nandi County.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. My comments are on the question of some of these emoluments that the former leaders and even the probably sitting leaders are enjoying. You made a comment that probably these leaders have served the country.
Yep.
I get the feeling that the country has served them. If you take a good look, the country has been good to them. But as for whether they were good for the country,
debatable.
That is another story for another day. So it is really unbelievable that somebody who already has a lot, would still be willing to take from a suffering economy. That's immoral in itself. And if they wanted to lead, then they should lead from the front. And one of the ways is by going easy on some of these. They should not accept. I don't understand why, like the former president, Uhuru Kenyatta, he's a billionaire.
Why should he pay for his domestic travel?
Why would he take 56 million from Kenya?
Isaiah, thank you. We hear you. I want to hear from Amos as we close. Amos, good morning.
Yes, good morning. How are you guys?
Fine, thanks. In about 30 seconds, Amos.
Okay, I will support you. That until us as the Wananchi, we see the sense, then nothing much will ever change. Remember, these leaders come from the community, and we are the people who vote them. So it's just like a representation of us. And until we feel pain, because what I'm seeing now is like we've given up, we've lost hope. We just think that one day things will be better, which will not really happen. So until we see the sense, we make the sense, we act in the right way, we will continue lamenting day in, day out. We will never get any solution. So,
well said, Amos. Thank you very much. We're coming to the end of the show. Thank you for all the calls, for all the comments on social media. Well, Patrick said, let's not stop talking about this. We will not stop. Let's not stop having conversations. Let's actually open up these conversations in all our social places and see how can we individually contribute to the change that we'd like to see. Okay? We have something to do about it. Let's do it. Thank you very much for tuning in to Kenya's biggest conversation today. Have a lovely day. Tomorrow, Wednesday, we'll be back here. It's 10 a.m. Good day.